Welcome everyone to It's Dangerous to Go Alone. My name is Andu and I'm here with Mr. Rookie or L-A-D. How do you say it again?
You have to pronounce it. It's pronounced like A-L-D. I pronounce it in a very weird
Gotcha.
way, but it's A-Y-Y-E-L-D-E-E. But you can call me Mr. Rookie. For I will be commentating for It's Dangerous to Go Alone.
And this is It's Dangerous to Go Alone 33. So there's been 32 of these before. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they've been going at this for quite a while. It's very amazing how they've gotten this far.
Right.
But
So,
anyway, we're gonna be going ahead in just a bit. But what do you think we can expect from this tournament coming up?
well, since it's a FA tournament, so to say, we're gonna see a lot of, I'd say, how teams will try to adapt to each other. Some of these teams are experienced comp players, some of these teams are, haven't been playing comp too well. So it's really how each player will play with each other and how they're going to adapt with each other as they play along or within the tournament and with their team. And it's also like how each player or how each team has practiced with each other. If they've practiced a lot or if they practice only a little bit, we'll see all when it comes down to when they play.
And that's right. And looking at this right now, we've got two teams coming up so far from Angry Applause versus Eggressive Emergia. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it correctly.
The aggressive Emergia. I like the little pun there.
Yeah, Eggressive. That sounds excellent. But we're going to be starting off with these two teams coming up. It's going to be, I believe this is Swiss round one. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting map. What do you think is going to be happening so far?
Well, we'll definitely have to see. There's many maps and modes that we actually haven't seen. The Tower Port macro especially, I haven't seen that in a while. In any,
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that I haven't seen that anywhere. But we'll definitely see how all these players play. Especially the Rainmaker game, the first round. We'll see how each player plays around each other and how the Rainmaker is going to be pushed and how it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to be going on to the first game at Muscle Forge Fitness on Rainmaker. So let's see here. We got the comps going on right here. Alright, so they got well, each of them have their own tri-sloshes on their end, so this is going to be interesting. And I think might be effective for the map that they're going to get, don't you think?
Absolutely. Aggressive Emerger goes straight for the pop, and they do get it. See, the try from Angry Applause does get 3 down. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And you see that Angry Applause is now trying to push to that right side as they are responding from Aggressive Emerger. They're trying to get some early points. They already have 40 right now. They popped that ray. They popped that missile. They're trying to push through. They have 1 down from each side, but the K-shot does go down.
Yeah, and it looks like Eggressive tried to push in towards Rainmaker as well, but it doesn't seem like it's going well. But they managed to do so with two teams from Aggressive, making sure that they don't push even farther. It was a good start from Angry, but Aggressive has going to try to push a lot if they're going to try to make sure that they get the lead as well.
Absolutely. Aggressive Emerger tries to pop that armor, tries to get into mid, but that Tri-Slosher from Angry Applause stops him in the tracks. Oh, and they do grab that Rainmaker. Angry Applause with the Tri-Slosher of the Rainmaker. They don't have that second armor that they're riding on. They try to go up this wall on the right side. They do get some early point. Oh, they push it all the way to 22 points, which is a solid lead.
Yeah, and with the wipe right now, it's going to take a lot for Aggressive to paint forward and push, and it looks like Angry Applause is going to be coming back right now. You have Spinomatic right now, trying to paint the mid as much as possible. Rainmaker starts to reset, and the armor comes up from Eggressive. You see they're going to try to push, but Angry Applause right now is coming back to mid, and they grab Rainmaker instead, but doesn't manage to hold it for long as Eggressive tries to push it back, and it seems like they're going to start pushing Rainmaker towards the right side of the map.
So now the bubbles are being popped, trying to push that right side, but the Rainmaker does go down.
Yeah, it seems like they pushed us 68 points, but it's going to take a lot more for it push forward. Angry Applause trying to pop the Rainmaker, probably going to reset, and it's going to be taking over mid right now. Tented misses come up, and it's going to be locking on 3. So it's now a matter of time before the Rainmaker starts to reset, and 1 goes down from the Tented misses right now. So now it seems like Angry Applause might have a... Oh, no. Actually, they might have a possibility about the Rainmaker, but Eggressive Emergia is trying to pop the Rainmaker as much as possible.
Into it. Aggressive Emergia does get that pop on the Rainmaker, but they do go 1 down. What will they do here? The armor from the Junior is coming really quickly. They do have the armor, so maybe they'll pop. Oh, but they do pop, and the try does go down. So I'm not sure if they'll be able to push here. They're just gonna have to play their life.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to try to defend from pushing even farther, but Angry Applause does have control of mid, so it may be difficult for Eggressive Emergia to push mid, but we're gonna have to see how they're gonna play this out. They've got one special coming up right now. Oh, they start to gain control of mid, just waiting just a little bit to pop the Rainmaker. As you can see, the Tri-Saucer coming in mid. Armor does pop out, and seems like they're just gonna have to wait a while, but Angry Applause actually gets the Rainmaker. He's gonna start pushing to the right.
So they're trying to push this to the right. The try picked it up, which doesn't mean they don't have the armor that they're trying to push in with, but they do pop the Booyah, they do pop the Ray. You know, they're pushing forward, and all the way to 13 points. They solidify their lead even more.
Yes, indeed, but it looks like they're gonna try to keep going afterwards. It's now 8 points. Now instead of 13, but Eggressive now takes down 3 teams from Angry Applause, so now it's going to be waiting until they're going to actually grab the Rainmaker, and they're going to try to have it as much as possible, but 1 minute remains actually, so it's only a matter of time before Eggressive Emergia tries to push forward and hope to get the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to push in right now because there's only a minute left. You have to go all the way to their base. I mean, you have to make some play. You can't really let it reset and just let the clock run down if you're Aggressive Emergia here.
Yes, indeed, because in Splatoon, time goes by really fast and you have to make the action count. But it looks like all the teams from Aggressive Emergia go down, so Angry Applause is going to have to defend the Rainmaker as much as possible in order for Eggressive Emergia to not take the lead. It seems like they're going to be controlling mid right now, if I'm going to do so. And within about 10 seconds remaining, we're going to have to see what they could do with the Rainmaker resetting and Emergia trying to grab the Rainmaker one more time to see if they can make that final push.
The Ray might catch the Rainmaker off guard, and the team, they might go down if they live. Oh, and the Tri-Slosher finishes it off.
And that ends game 1 with Angry Applause winning this game against Eggressive Emergia.
Yeah, I liked how there was a try on both teams here. The try on of Angry Applause and Aggressive Emergia getting picks. Both the tries made a difference here with the armors and the picks and everything here.
Yes, indeed. And with the Tri-Saucer, it really benefits with the map that there is, especially in the mid when there's 2 slanted angles that could be benefit to get the picks as effectively as possible.
Absolutely. But as we go into Gobi Arena, will we see the Tri-Sloshers stay, or will they change off of something else?
I'm gonna predict that it might be a change for this because Gobi Arena has more of a flat area than Muscle Forge Fitness, but the one thing to point out is how to deal with getting clams into a narrow area towards the goal. It's usually one of the toughest areas to deal with in Clam Blitz.
Absolutely. That one choke right between the grates or the jail. Some people can call it the jail. It's really hard because a lot of teams just throw bombs, focus all their firepower on this single area, and you're trying to just squeeze past and throw these clams, which without dying, and it's really hard to do without so.
Yes, indeed. The choke area is going to be the main obstacle for this, but usually you will find people flanking around trying to relieve that pressure for the teams to reach to the goal, but it's only a matter of time before which teams are going to be using what weapons to make this push happen.
Yeah, we will see which teams will be able to pull off these flanks, which teams will stop these flanks, and which teams will score. You know, Clamblitz is a very team-centered game, and we'll see who goes on top.
Yes, indeed, and we're about to go into the second game right now. Let's see what comps they're gonna have for this map. Oh, the Tri-Slosher is still here, but the Luna Blaster is now in session. I'm surprised about that. What do you think about that?
The Luna Blast. It's a good pick that we do not see. It has very high kill potential, but also very short range. So we'll see how they use their strengths and weaknesses in their favor.
Yes, exactly, and we're seeing Brush right now taking the left side of the map. Probably if he uses a decoy right now. Armor goes out, and they're about to get the cleanse right now to see if they can make it up to the choke point. They do get to deal with one of the teammates from Angry Applause right now, but start to back off afterwards.
Right, we see that Angry Applause actually has a good chunk of mid down, which is very crucial for Clamblitz here. You really want to hold this mid area down and make sure you get your clams and your special.
Yes, indeed. Angry Applause taking care of mid right now. We just see Brush right now just hanging out for a little while, but two go down from Aggressive Emergia. Angry Applause manages to get the goal there, and it seems like more clams are about to reach it in the goalpost.
I like what the Brush was doing, sharking near the basket and picking off the one player that was trying to score, and now this Brush is a flank angle, so this one person from Angry Applause can't really escape unless they do jump out, which is very surprising.
Yes, indeed, and it looks like they got a lot of players right now. Plus, just gonna try to take the left side, but K-Shot manages to, or actually, Oya Squeezer manages to get them. It's just gonna try to take care of it. Oh, because of fireworks. Yeah, you love to see
the
that.
Squeezer gets 3 of them.
Exactly. Oya Squeezer's doing a good job of making sure to take down all the teams before taking control of mid. And as they do that, they're gonna try to see if we can gather clams, as they have 5 clams remaining. Yeah, there's Little Blaster on the left side, making sure he pushes back as much as possible, but doesn't really get much of it, and he gets taken down by Splat Bombs, along with 2 teams getting taken down by Tinted Missiles.
Right, those missiles are very deadly when there's only so much room in mid and so many people there. So many missiles, you're bound to hit something.
Yeah,
It's so deadly. Oh, as we talk, the Kesha almost goes down by the missiles.
Yeah, that was a close call right there. As you said before, tinted missiles can be very deadly. If not, can put teams out of position in order to take advantage from the opposites. Now you can see K-Shot going down by the Tri-Slosher right now. He's going to try to push onto the left side of the map, possibly going for a flank, or no, it seems like they're backing up right now. As you can see, both teams have their own clans right now, but Angry Applause has a better clan economy than Aggressive Emergia right now, so it seems like there's going to be a lot of pressure going on right now for Aggressive Emergia.
Absolutely, but Aggressive Emergia is trying to push back. They pop their specials, and they do get one down the Brush. And now they're trying to clean up these other 2 players that here. But oh man, the K-Perk does go down by that burst bomb.
Yeah, it seems like one of the teams manages to take down the person with the clan bomb that using burst bomb rush, but Brush manages to get the Tri-Slosher out of the way. So now that Aggressive Emergia has the middle ground right now, he's pushing back Angry Applause so that way they can gather their clams and make sure they can get the goalpost one last time.
Right, we need to see Aggressive Emergia build their specials, build their clan economy, and not die. This is very important.
Yeah, and no, time is ticking already. We're about to get close to the minute bracket with just 1 minute and 15 seconds. But Angry Applause almost got the clan ball in, but Brush manages to do so. Now there was a team wipe there, but Aggressive Emergia has to gather all of that as much as possible before Angry Applause gets back and starts playing defensive.
Absolutely, I'd love to see this Brush flank a little more. I don't see either team flanking at all. Oh, and they do go down trying to shark. Now it's a wipe on the side of Angry Applause, and they're building some clans, they're building their ball, and now they have their specials. And what will they do?
Well, right now they're about to make the goalpost right now, but 3 go down. It's just Splattershot Pro right now trying to make sure to get 3 clamps in before being tackled by Aggressive Emergia right now. You can see Splattershot Pro after making after making their goals, just start backing up and waiting for the rest of the team to start making some more plays if possible. But 15 seconds remaining. Aggressive Emergia will have to do something in order to make it happen, but it may not be likely here.
Absolutely. The aggressive Emerger pushed a little bit too far in the or in the end, and they all got wiped. And now there's really no chance for them to score unless they are able to push out Angry Applause here from this mid side.
Yeah, it will have to take a miracle for it as overtime start to happen, but not enough time remaining here. You can see Aggressive Emergia getting the ball, but Angry Applause already has him taken down, and it's just gonna take care of the map before the timer runs out.
And the game goes to Angry Applause once again. It is 2-0.
Yeah, but the fun does not stop there. Afterwards, we will be moving on to Pork Mackerel. How do you feel about Pork Mackerel so far?
For Mackerel, you know, it's a very linear map. There's a lot of places you could hide as like maybe a Tri-Slosher or maybe a Luna Blast or something like that. I expect to see some of these weapons come back like the Tri-Slosher, you know, try to ambush some of these people around the corner, or maybe even an E-Leader or something very long range to try to just lock down these corridors.
Yeah, Pork Mackerel may be beneficial for the backlines. And as you may know, Pork Mackerel in the middle has 3 narrow alleys to take care of. So there's going to be a lot of obstacles coming away, but it only depends on how these teams can manage to push through tower control out of mid before making it to the second checkpoint.
Absolutely. We could maybe see even a jet or like a C or it's the ray jet, correct? I'm not sure which one. I think it's a C jet, the one with the ray. I think that one here is very strong because the ray just shoot down the middle and you could maybe pick one off, and even on tower control, that is really strong too.
Yes, you are definitely correct. Custom jet sculpture with Stingray and burst bombs. One of the best weapons you can use to gain Stingray out of this, and Stingray is very strong in this map for its middle linear flat area that they have to take care of.
Right, and we did see a siege on the side of Angry Applause in Game 1 on Muscle Forge, so I'm really excited to maybe even see that on this map.
Absolutely, and with tower control, it is expected to get a lot of stingrays out of this, but we'll be moving on to Pork Mackerel tower control. And it seems like there's a 52 cal deco, and yeah, there's a lot of interesting comps right now from both sides of the team.
Absolutely. We don't see that Deco 52 very well, but I do understand their line of thought, and I want that ray. I want, you know, all these narrow corridors and the tower. I do understand their thought process.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like Aggressive Emergia is taking it right now, but Angry Applause already has a Stingray and is going to start taking into tower control right now.
And that ray did come in handy, like I said.
Yes, indeed. It looks like Aggressive Emergia is going to be going down. It's a 3v2 situation right now, but Angry Applause is already reaching the second checkpoint right now, making sure that they can push back Aggressive Emergia as much as possible.
Right, they are on that second the second checkpoint here. Let's see if they can clear it or not.
Yes, and right now, Angry Applause is now losing 2 teams right now. It seems like tower control is going to be pushing back for a while, giving Aggressive Emergia that little bit of a breather before finding a way to push in and taking over that lead as well. And right now, it's going to be a 2v2 situation right now with Aggressive Emergia trying to defend the tower as much as possible. And it seems like it's working in their favor right now.
Oh, the 2 picks coming out from the Cave Pro. They will be on that tower, and they will be building up that Booyah, maybe for this push.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like Angry Applause right now is going to try again to make way towards next checkpoint, pushing back Aggressive Emergia with 2 ticket missiles locking on to 2 teams as well. Booyah Bomb is going to be going off next to the tower control. It seems like Angry Applause right now cannot get past the checkpoint.
No, they can't. This Tri-Slosher is really doing work next to this tower, trying to just distract everyone. And they do get one. They get 2 of them, actually, and stop this entire push on the side of Angry Applause.
Yes, indeed. And now Angry Emergia is now going to be painted over mid right now, trying to see if they can get the gain advantage off it. They now start to ride the tower, but it's only a matter of time before if Aggressive Emergia can get the push going. You can see the Stingray is now being deployed right now, but it's now a 2v3 situation right now, so it seems like the Aggressive Emergia may have any advantage of this.
Yes, the aggressive Emergia is all the way pushed up all the way and forward, but no one was on tower, so none of the points were captured until now. And now all the players from Angry Applause respawning, and now they're actually going to the tower and killing one another.
Yeah, and with that time stall, Angry Plus was managed to get back on their feet and push back Aggressive Emergia back into middle right now. But one team right now is going to try to push one more time before Angry Plus starts to get at them.
Right, they do have this bomb rush to capture some of this area that's in front of them. Maybe even secure some zone or the area in front of them. And then, oh, but the 10 miss on the Tri-Slosher does stop that push. And that's a wipe on the side of Angry Applause.
Alright, now Angry Applause is going to be taking over mid right now. They're going to try to push to see if they can get the bigger gap and probably manage to get the checkpoint if possible.
Absolutely. I want Angry Applause to maybe go up on that top left side for the tower. Maybe this Tri-Slosher would go up there and secure that area. But it doesn't look like we're going to see that because of that Luna Blaster. Oh, and the Luna Blaster gets 2 of them.
Yeah, Luna Blaster manages to stop the checkpoint once again, but the Stingray does get two teams out of there. And now it seems like Angry Applause will have to try again if possible. But the Tri-Slosher manages to get the 52 count, but is going to be bombarded by 2 teams from Angry Applause. So now it's only a matter of time before Angry Applause once again tries to push past the checkpoint.
Absolutely, this is actually very dangerous for Aggressive Emergia as they're pushed all the way to their sponge, and now they're on that checkpoint with really no one to stop them. They might clear this here.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like with Trial and Error right now, they do pass checkpoint 1. They succeeded, but now 38 seconds remaining. Aggressive Emergia is going to have to try to push Angry Applause back off the tower right now and see if they can push into lead one more time before the time ends.
Applause pushing Angry Applause pushing it all the way to 37 points. There's only 22 seconds left on the clock. What will Aggressive Emergia do?
Well, right now, Angry Applause is trying their best to push them off the tower, but Aggressive Emergia is trying their best right now to push back Angry Applause so that way they can reach to the first checkpoint. Oh, they ran into the subject bomb. So now it's a 3v3 situation. Tinted misses and Stingray goes out. It's now all or nothing for Angry Applause, and they managed to get the tower. Angry Applause winning against Aggressive Emergia 3-0.
God, that was such a exciting game. Especially these weapons that we haven't seen before, like the Deco 52 and these Tri-Sloshers and the Luna. These weapons that we haven't seen a lot are really coming out and really trying to make a play here.
Yeah, and indeed, and when these weapons sort of rare, it's interesting to see what kind of teams will work a way around it, just to see what they can do to win these events.
Absolutely.
And with that, we should be getting on to round 2. It's dangerous to go along, but we will be coming up there very soon.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone 33. It's Andu here, and I'm joined here with Mr. Rookie.
Yes, indeed. I am back with Ender. We are now going into round 2 of Swiss, and it's dangerous to go alone.
Absolutely. We're going to see a Splat Zones Manaria, Rainmaker Wahoo, and Clambert's Albacore. And the two teams are the Fancy Fishmongers and the Hesitant Hope.
This is going to be an interesting competition, don't you think?
Absolutely. Some of these maps are, especially this Rainmaker Wahoo world is, you know, certainly interesting, but definitely fun to see.
Yes, indeed. And the first map of the Swiss round right now is going to be Manta Maria in Splat Zones. Now, this map is going to be an interesting one because if playing Splat it's going to be one of the few modes that's going to have 2 Splat Zones. So not only do you have to capture and defend your zone, but you're going to have to make sure that you can capture the opponent's zone as well.
Absolutely. There's also some of these bunkers and mast area that you have to capture as well. In order to capture these zones, you just have to control these areas. And weapons that control these areas are tries maybe some very high kill potential weapons, or very sharky weapons that you could play, or just shark on these walls so you can get these bunkers down.
Yes, indeed, and there's going to be a little bit of everything for this map. Now the question is, who can capture the zone? Who can capture the zone and win this round?
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to tell.
It's going to be a experience for both these teams in this first round. You know, none of these teams have fought each other before, and they're trying to figure each other out. You know, what weapons these players play, and you know, there might be a surprise pick later down the road if you know, one team is used to another player playing this weapon, and they pick out a surprise. You know, it could have thrown them off.
Yes, indeed. We're about to go into Manta Maria and Splatzel's right now. Let's take a look at this situation right now. We see Blob and Octobrush on their end, meeting a clear double duelies on Hesitant Hulk. That's an interesting thing to see.
Absolutely. We see that both teams here do have that armor weapon, which is so important, but Hesitant Hope do have that junior, so they're going to get this armor earlier, which they do see. They do get that pop. Oh, and the mini does get that get that trade on that oh. It happens to everyone. The brush does fall, but
yeah,
it's alright.
It happens to both of us, but all the Fancy Fish right now has now taken both zones right now. But the Octopus does go down once again, and the Splashdown is going to be taking care of the Fancy Fish zone right now. And 2 go down, and we're going to see Mini Splatling taking care of one of the teams right now. Just double splat right now, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, this mini really doing work on those on that Zap and K shot on the right side. Really, they're really harassing this brush too. They might be able to get this, but they do pop that jet and do create a little more space.
Yes, indeed. It seems like Hesitant Hope is going to be backing up right now. Fancy Fish is going to be taking care of this zone right now, and Tech Missiles is going to be locked on to Mini Splatling. They're going to be able to go to Vulcan right now to see if they're going to be pushed. Armor does go out, and Tech Missiles as well, locking on to 2 teams for Fancy Fish fingers. Blob falls down to the board right now, and it seems like the Hesitant Hope does capture the zone once again.
Absolutely, this mini is just tearing through Hesitant Hope right now. Or sorry, Fancy Fishmongers. They're tearing through them. The Burst Bomb combo with just the small mini charge is just absolutely destroying them. As we see, oh, the mini almost got the blob too.
Yeah, the mini Splatling is not something you want to take care of quietly. Once that turret goes out, it's only a matter of time before they could get certain spots on Fancy Fish, but it seems like Fancy Fish right now does get the zone right now with 75 to 28 points. Oh, but the mini Splatling again takes down the blob, and tries to capture zone, but the armor going up right now, pressuring Fancy Fish back up in. Ooh. The splat does go down from the inside. Yeah, mini Splatling does seem like they're getting a lot of aggressive push, but it does go down by that brush right now. Almost gets by the flashed out, and it seems like Player Dooley's right now is trying to take down the brush. Does manage to do so, and he gets taken down.
Yeah, the zone is on the side for Fancy Fishmongers, but the Hesitant Hope are trying to cap that zone. You know, they're trying to neutralize that zone by capping one of them. You do need to cap both zones in order to get that full cap, so they're really trying to get at least both zones down.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like Hesitant Hope does have armor. Mini Splatting pushes back the T-Tech right now. It does go down. Now it's a 3v1 situation right now with clear Devil Dooley's trying to get something out of it, but it does get taken down by the brush. Now the brush is going to be going into Hesitant Hope's bunker right now. Just waiting to see if they can shard and get some splats in that. Inkjet does go up, and it seems like they're going to be targeting Mini Splatting, but it does get avoided right now.
The Inkjet goes on that high target player. Oh, but the bomb falls down on the Inkjet landing, and they do go down.
Yeah, that spot bomb did fall down a little bit before it started to implode, thus getting that splat on the Inkjet right now. But it seems like Hesitant Hope right now needs to push right now to see if they can get back the lead, as Fancy Fish Fingers right now takes the lead with 38 points.
Yeah, the Hesitant Hope does have their bunker currently, and they are trying to push back the Fancy Fishmongers. They do have all their penalty points down, so they are taking on their main clock, which they are getting points on.
Yes, indeed, but it seems like Fancy Fish Fingers right now is trying to push right now, but it seems like Hesitant Hope does manage to take the lead against Fancy Fish Fingers. It takes down the Blob Baller and is going to be pushing up against their bunker right now to see if they can push back Fancy Fish Fingers before getting a knockout.
And they do go 2 down, and on the clock, there's only 18 points left. They do need to neutralize this zone.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like 10 points remaining. They may have a chance to get a knockout right now. Fancy Fish Fingers are going to turn the Pullman all in, but it doesn't seem... Oh, they managed to get one of the zones right now, but it doesn't seem like... Oh, it's a little bit getting the 10s out of Fancy Fish Fingers, just trying to push as much as possible. The Hesitant Hope is trying to reclaim yourself before knockout to go down, and it seems like Hesitant Hope in the end takes a knockout against Fancy Fish Fingers.
We did see Fancy Fish Fingers really close to capping that zone at one point, but again, you need both those zones capped, and even if you have one of the zones capped, you need to have both of them.
Yes, indeed, and with Manta Maria, it does get a little bit intense when both teams manage to hold the zone for a long period of time. But now, with that being done, we will be moving on to Wahoo World with Rainmaker. What do you think about this map and mode so far?
Well, this map and mode, it's really linear, I believe. There's only one way to push the Rainmaker, which is left side, and the other way to push the Rainmaker is also on that left side. So there's really one way to push the Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed, and it's usually on the left side of the map, going forward towards closer to the goal.
Yeah, correct. You really have to see teams try to control the enemy team's drop to like where the pedestal is before you push that Rainmaker through, or you will get that Rainmaker sniped and your push will die.
But as said, there's usually a choke point in the Wahoo World, and the closer you get to the goal, the tougher it is to push past the opponents. It's only a matter of how these teams can manage to get through one of the opponents and reach the goal itself.
Absolutely, I would love to see something like that Ink Brush or Octo Brush Inkjet back again. Inkjet is really good on this map, trying to do those ledges near the pedestal and try to spawn camp them, or even try to just get some really important picks on Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like there's a lot of advantages to take when it comes to brushes. So hopefully we get to see that, but it's only a matter of time before the round starts to begin and see what the comps that they chose.
Yeah, I believe early pop here, going for the Rainmaker pop isn't the best, but definitely is something you want to go for. The bridge in the middle is down, I believe, in the beginning.
Yes, indeed, and see here, we got a Splat Roller, a Hero Roller, and Tetra Dualies. So this is going to be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, both teams opting for some short to mid-range fighting power instead of that long-range things that sometimes we see in Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed. So it seems like both teams are gonna have to push in an aggressive manner right now. With two teams trying to push right now. Armor does come out from Fancy Fish Fingers right now, but it seems like Hesitant Hope right now is pushing back the Fancy Fish Fingers as much as possible.
Man, that Hesitant Hope does have mid control and are pushing through the base of Fancy Fish Fingers. They just need the picks in order to push.
As in Hesitant Hope right now does manage to get one and get a pick from Fancy Fish Fingers too, actually, with the hammer, and it's gonna start pushing up towards the plat.
Ooh, and they do go 3 down on the side of Fancy Fish Fingers, so they can pop and go right now.
Yes, indeed, it's now a 1v1 situation right now with NSAP trying to take down the Rainmaker and manages to do so. Teams are trying to push in, but is unable to do so. So Fancy Fish Fingers right now is going to have to possibly wait until Rainmaker is hesitant to push as well. But Hesitant Hope has a great start towards the Rainmaker with 6 points on their end.
Absolutely. Even though the Hesitant Hope does have such a huge lead, we have to remember this is Rainmaker. Anything can go any way. Teams can win, lose in a single heartbeat.
Yeah, indeed, it's all a chaotic process, but it seems like Fancy Fish Fingers right now is trying to push up against Hesitant Hope right now. His Splat Roller managed to get a pick off of Splat Dabble Doolies. 3 teams go down, and it's just Splash Shamanic right now, or Sploosh Shamanic right now, trying to get something out of it. They throw the hammer, but doesn't get the Rainmaker, and now Fancy Fish Fingers right now is going to try to push as much as possible, but Hesitant Hope right now is already on their end, but 2 go down by the suction ball. That is something else.
Right. Oh, but the roller does get one, but they do go for a trade. It doesn't look like Fancy Fish Fingers aren't going to be able to continue this push.
Yes, indeed. Hesitant Hope has already pushed back Fancy Fish Fingers. Now it's a matter of time to just try to regroup and try to make another push happen.
Right, but this roller, they are sharking. They're trying to make a play happen. Oh, and they're going for it. Oh, but that bomb.
Well, a little bit of inconvenience right there from the suction bomb, and then Rainmakers has already resetted. The Splat Roller managed to get 2 picks out of it. So it's only a matter of time before Fancy Fish Fingers tries to grab the Rainmaker, pop the armor, and try to push once more.
Wait, the roller actually getting 3 of the members of Hesitant Hope. This is a really big play here from the roller. Oh, and a quad even. A delayed quad, and they're going for more. This roller...
This is insane. The roller is just pummeling them to no end. And look at this. They're going to get lead on this, and they get a knockout. What a turnaround. And that Splat Roller manages to take down Hesitant Hope, reverse that score, and giving them the point.
Absolutely, the roller from the side of Fancy Fish Fingers really carrying there and just getting the crucial picks needed for that Rainmaker to just cruise right onto the pedestal.
Yes, indeed, and that adds a lot of pressure to Hesitant Hope, thus giving Fancy Fish Fingers the lead that they needed. That is an interesting play to see.
We are 1-1. Fancy Fish Fingers and Hesitant Hope do each have a game on each other. This last 3rd round is going to be so important and so crucial for both teams.
Yes, indeed. As this is Swiss right now, so this is going to be a play all 3. So, New Offical Hotel Clamplet is going to be a situation where either Hesitant Hope takes the win or Fancy Fish Fingers takes it away from them.
Absolutely. And this Hotel Albacore Clamblets, what do you think about this, Mr. Rookie?
Well, this is some sort of a more open map than Manta Maria and Wahoo World, so it may be possible that teams might have to go for something that's more of a longer range and possibly go for something more range dependent.
Absolutely. As some people like to call it, Hotel Albacore is the range map. You know, you need to have something that could shoot past those bridges and onto the enemy team's base.
Yes, indeed. And with Clamblets, it's going to be an all-around position where you have to take on certain areas in order to gain advantage against one another in order to make a goal.
Absolutely. Clamblitz is such a team-oriented mode, as I said. But really, both of these teams look like they have their teamwork down. Honestly, like the armor pushes and everything, I feel like both teams will have somewhat of a challenge facing each other.
Yes, indeed. It does seem like that Fancy Fish Fingers can rely on one of the teams to get the picks, get the pressure that they need in order to push. And I know that Hesitant Hope can rely on their own teams to do the same as well.
So as we get into round three, we will see what each team has to play or has is playing.
Well, let's take a look at the comps right now. Umbrella comes out on their end, and it seems like Kent's Delis Green Rage Blaster comes out as well.
Right, we do see that Grim Range, which is not too fairly seen, but it's seen sometimes. It is that Burst Bomb missile combo, so it's very high kill potential, and the missiles also very high kill potential.
Yes,
It's very
indeed.
nice.
Yes, indeed. And with Clan Blitz, it's not necessary to get much paint out of it, but to pressure the team is going to be something that they'll have to take care of, especially when going against Camel Umbrella.
I do actually like this tent pick here. If this tent can get on the enemy team's right bridge and push past that, they could be a really big factor in order to solve for more clams and more special in order to push.
Yes, indeed. And as you can see, there's the Squeezer right now. It's just taking care of mid right now, but it's getting pushed back by a Booyah Bomb right now. So it's only a matter of time before they can try to push back in, but they're getting locked on by Tentamists right now, especially when they have a clam in their hands. Two teams were Hesitant Hope tries to take down Tentacilla, but it's being saved by the shield right now. Oh, Hammer comes out right now. That's a surprising tactic right there, don't you think?
Right, the tent getting 2 picks off the hammer after distracting 2 of them on the right side alone. This is the power of tent that tent has. It is able to distract and it is able to kill when needed.
Yes, indeed. And looking right here, the Tentacilla does manage to get a pick off of it. Their clan economy is at their favor right now, so it's only a matter of time before they can try to push up to the goal right now. And as you can see, Tentacilla is trying to make her way. Bubbles do come out, but it's gonna get cancelled by the Green Range Blaster, and it's gonna be pushing Fancy Fish Fingers back to the base.
Absolutely, we see that 3 go down on the side of Fancy Fish Fingers, and a K-Shot running for their lives. You never want to get wiped in any mode.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like Hesitant Hope right now is going to be taking advantage right now, but they only have about 9 clams at their favor right now. No power clam at the moment, but it's a team wipe right now, so they're going to have to try to gather all the clams right now to make the push, and they do so right now. The barrier is now broken, and it's now just Hesitant Hope throwing clams as much as possible before Fancy Fish Fingers takes them out one by one.
Absolutely, Hesitant Hope does get a decent push in, almost 38 points on the board, but we will see that now Fancy Fish Fingers has mid. They have the mid control that we want. They have, they're really close to their special control. They do pop that armor. They're trying to push up. The brush pushing on the left. They do get 1 pick, and they do get 2 picks. And they're gonna open. This is really huge for Fancy Fish Fingers here.
That is indeed, and they got 12 players right now. They're going to try to push and get the lead out of it. That is huge for the Brush to push in and get that flank and succeed and reach into the goal right now. Now Hesitant Hope right now is just trying to make sure that they don't push any more points in, but they're going to about to jump right now, and another power clip goes in. Fancy Fish Fingers now has 12 points against Hesitant Hope right now.
Absolutely, and they might be able to completely cap this. Just
Really?
one more climb left. Oh, and they do.
Oh.
They insta KO 100-0. What a magnificent push by the Fancy Fish Fingers.
Yes, indeed, and especially that brush too. When it comes to conflicts and brush, you want to make sure you keep an eye on that, and the brush manages to flank around them, get 2 picks out of it, and reaches the goal, giving Fancy Fish Fingers the advantage of getting a knockout. What an
Absolutely.
engine. Yes, indeed.
What a hype game. 2-1 to Fancy Fish Fingers.
Yes, indeed. Now that's an interesting match, especially in the Wahoo world when Fancy Fish Fingers managed to take their win against Hesitant Hope with everything that they got, and the pressure now came to Hesitant Hope and Fancy Fish Fingers winning this round against them.
But don't go anywhere. We'll be continuing to round 3 soon. It's dangerous to go alone. 33.
See you soon.
Welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone. It is me again, Andrew, and I'm joined here with Mr. Rookie again.
Hello again. Welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone. We are now going to be going into round 3 of Swiss.
Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting 2 matches that we had before, but this third match, I'm pretty excited for it because we have that Moray Towers Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed. And while Moray Towers has appeared, and it's going to be Rainmaker on this map, so it might get a little more intense than the other modes that we see on this map.
Absolutely. And the Humpback Tower and the Piranha Pit zones, they're just generic maps, you know. I feel like this would be a good round.
Yes, indeed. And the first 2 maps is going to be good for how they're going to play around before Moray Towers. We're probably going to throw them a curveball, but we're going to have to see how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 teams are Bubble Burst and Discreet Destruction.
Yes, indeed, and they got some interesting players right here. Now, what do you think this team is going to be doing for this round?
For both teams, I'd say for Team Bubble Burst, I am expecting maybe at least the back line, I'd say. Maybe some interesting picks here and there, you know. I'd love to see something like a sloshing machine. Like a V sloshing machine. I'd love to see something like that. But for Discreet Destruction, you know, I'd say I'd like to see some unique picks, I'd say.
Yes, indeed. With the maps that we have so far, it's going to be interesting to see what these comps are going to be choosing to win against one another. But it's only a matter of time before we go to round 1 of Tower Control in Humpback Pump Track.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see a pretty linear comp from Bubble Burst. The jet coming up from both teams, the C jet coming up from Bubble Burst, and the V jet coming up from Discreet Destruction.
Yes, indeed. And right now, Bubble Burst are going to be taking the first runner-up to mid right now, and we see K-Shot right now trying to paint around, getting that tinted missiles right now. He managed to do so, but the other team from Discreet Destruction already has the tinted missiles on them, but neither teams are getting the pick right now, which is something they're going to have to work around with right now.
Right, both teams actually have that double missile comp. The double missile from Bubble Burst being the K-Shot and the C jet, and the double missile from Discreet Destruction being the K-Shot and the K-Shot and the Zap.
Yes, indeed. And right now, the K-Shot tries to push up base. It seems like 2 teams from Burst Bubbles managed to get a pick out of him, but Discreet Destruction right now manages to make the first checkpoint. He's going to try to push, but the Stinger right now from Bubble Burst is already been deployed, and now the person running the tower gets taken off at the moment.
Right, that ray is so powerful for something like tower control. You just lock your ray onto the tower, and you're bound to at least get one of them.
Yes, indeed. And right now, the NSAP right now, she needs to paint right now. It's gonna be jumping out in this situation right now, making sure that they can save some, especially before launching 2 targets with the tinted missiles. It seems like Bubble Burst does save as well. So now, Discreet Destruction right now is already at the base right now, trying to push up as much as possible.
Bubble Burst is looking for something to push or anything, but they're just not pushing. They're saving all their specials. They actually have 3 specials, almost 4 specials. They pop 2. They pop the missile. They pop the ray. They're trying to get at least 1 pick in order to push in. But these missiles from the enemy team, from Discreet Destruction, are absolutely wreaking havoc on them.
Yes, indeed, and all that prepare does work well in the end as Bubble Burst managed to get 3 blasts against Discreet Destruction right now. So Bubble Burst right now is going to be pushing out towards their second checkpoint right now, taking the lead as you see Stingrays can be deployed, getting into that play, taking missiles as well, pushing them out of position. They managed to get past 2 checkpoints right now. It's only a matter of time before they can reach the last one.
They're really close to that last checkpoint here, but Discreet Destruction do have that respawn advantage. You know, it is really close to their spawn, so it's really hard for them to take that 1 checkpoint unless they are all wiped.
Yes, indeed. And Discreet Destruction right now manages to push back the tower as much as possible, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to make sure they can get back into mid right now. Seeing 1 team from Discreet Destruction gets taken out. We have 5 first bubbles right now. That's going to be deployed. take them down from the destruction and just really gonna be pushing back to base.
Discreet Destruction does have that armor advantage, and they do pop it. Let's see what they could do. There's a ring coming up from Bubble Burst, but what is there going to be a pick or anything? There is a pick from both sides. There's actually 2 down from Bubble Burst. I think this push this push isn't going anywhere anymore.
Yeah, it seems like Burst Bubble's just gonna have to try some things to make push effective, but right now they're still getting picked by Discreet Destruction right now. Taking care of mid, making sure that Burst Bubbles doesn't push forward, but it's gonna take about 90 seconds before they can defend as much as possible.
So there's 2 specials being popped on the side of Discreet Destruction. The double missiles trying to pick anyone off from Bubble Burst.
Yes, indeed, and right now it's going to be a 1v1 situation, but the K-Shot goes down right now, but the Bubble Burst Booyah Bomb is just waiting for the tower to be deployed, and now they managed to do so, getting Discreet Destruction off the tower with a Steamer in Splashdown, helping out the situation.
Right, that Booyah Bomb on the tower and the Ray is just not letting them pass the second checkpoint. It's really crucial that that Discreet Destruction do get the second checkpoint in order to get all the way to the third, so they can get the lead.
Yes, indeed, and they get a pick off of Bubble Burst right now. Discreet Destruction, popping armor and Tentacle missiles, making sure that they can push as much as possible, but they have to get through the second checkpoint in order to take the lead, so a lot of efforts from Discreet Destruction will have to happen, but it does seem like it's going to go in favor. You can see right now, getting a lot of picks from Discreet Destruction, and they managed to get the lead off. They get the lead off of them, and they managed to get the first checkpoint.
You might be able to KO here. Discreet Destruction was all the way in their plat, and they do get that KO. Wonderful push on the side of Discreet Destruction for the win.
Yes, indeed. Discreet Destruction did manage to push through all the effort, and with Bubble Burst trying to defend as much as possible, Discreet in the end manages to get the KO.
Right, and Jaden with the 17 splats and the triple missiles actually on the side of Discreet Destruction. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. But that is over 25 missiles. That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. When a lot of tinted missiles gives you a lot of advantages for getting opponent teams out of position just so you can get the push that you need. And that is something that Discreet Destruction managed to do so in Humpback Pump Track.
Absolutely, but Piranha Zones, we'll see how the teams will switch up here as we go for another double zone map.
Yes, indeed, and this map is a little bit more open than Humpback Pump Track, nonetheless, a little bit more flatter, but you have 2 conveyor belts to take advantage of. What do you think this might happen?
I'd like to see something like maybe like a Tries. Tries are very good on this map with all the ledges and everything with the burst bomb, but also Splash really good with that suction bomb burst rush and just everything and the kill potential and how mobile it is.
Yes, indeed. With trying to slash on the conveyor belt, it will bring some pressure along with easier paint to capture the zone right now. But it's also good for range weapons too, so we might see that happening on Piranha Pit Splat zones.
So something like a Heavy or a Hydra, or maybe even a Charger. I would love to see a Charger around here.
It would be nice. Firefin Charger with burst bombs is the most effective thing you can use, especially in zones. So it may be possible, but we'll have to see.
Right.
And we will be coming up to Piranha Pit Splat zones in just a little bit, but we're still on the very beginning of the game with Humpback Pump Track taken care of. But it's only a matter of time before we jump into Piranha Pit and Splat zones.
Alright, we do see the Heavy remix coming out and the Forge Pro coming out from Bubble Burst.
And it seems like Discreet Destruction is keeping their siege right now, so it may be good to take on the pits from afar, but we'll have to see where it goes. Both teams manages to get their own zones, but Discreet Destruction right now is trying to invade Bubble Burst's zone right now. But as you can see here, C-Jet, I apologize, the C-Jet, no, V-Jet.
Yep.
V-Jet manages to trying to hold this zone as much as possible, popping missiles right now, and it's just trying to defend their zone as much as possible. You see Bubble Burst right now getting a small head start, but this destruction manages to take it back as quickly as possible.
So there's 2 down on the side of Discreet Destruction right now. They could flip the zone if they really try. They do flip the zone. Oh, and one drop. The K shot dropped on the window and actually picked off the K machine.
Yes, indeed. And right now, the K-Shot right now manages to get a pick right now, locked on to heavy Remix right now, pushing them back. He's definitely going to pressure the Remix right now back into the useless area, but K-Machine right now and Black Forge Pro right now manages to get a K-Shot right now. Bubbles are going to be coming up right now, making sure they capture the zone right now, but manages to get taken out by Jade along with K-Machine taking out Jade.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to cap the zone. They're trying to throw out that booyah. You know, oh, but they do go 2 down on the side of Discreet Destruction. They still need to cap that zone, but it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to do it. They still throw out that booyah. The player, the K, oh, and the Kegel does go down. They're still trying to really get this zone. Oh, and the pick from the heavy.
Well, this seems like an interesting thing. Two sort of an assist from him. Heavy Remix right now. 2 go down from the Discreet Destruction right now. Bubba Burst manages to get 2 zones right now. Now it's only a matter of time before they can defend in order to get this closest small gap and taking a lead against this Discreet Destruction. Bubbles do come out from the left side of the conveyor belt right now. Manages to get pop and no picks at the moment. They're just taking care on the zone right now. Booyah Bomb comes out and it's just only a matter of time when they can just defend and make sure that Discreet Destruction doesn't push forward.
Right, what Discreet Destruction really need to do is use their armor as their revenge, and they do pop that armor and get a pick. This is their moment. They need to get that zone pop, and they need to spread that booyah. They do get the booyah play, and they need to keep the zone.
Yes, indeed, and right now they managed to get the zone right now, so now Discreet Destruction has to defend this one as much as possible. Penalty points are now gone, and it's only a matter of time before they can move 46 and then take the lead in their zone. You can see BJ right now popping the missiles right now, but the bubble burst right now deploys a Booyah Bomb and bubbles, but doesn't get the zone in time. They managed to get their zone at the moment and trying to push as much as possible, but Discreet Destruction is defending as effectively as possible.
This VJ from the side of Discreet Destruction is really abusing its range and just trying to keep that zone painted. And Bubbleburst isn't able to cap the zone. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get those penalty points. Really spamming the special, trying to get that zone, but Discreet Destruction, they're just not letting them get that zone.
Indeed, and right now they're just trying to stop the zone as much as possible, but in the end, Discreet Destruction gets the lead. Now Burst Bubble will have to capture the zone from both sides, but Discreet Destruction is still defending really well. It's not just Forge Pro trying to hold off until the team reaches back, but it seems like Discreet Destruction may know where they are, so it's only a matter of time before Forge Pro gets pressured by Discreet Destruction, but the rest of the team does come by. Bubbles are now being deployed, capturing one of the zones, getting a pick on it. Now it's a 3v1 situation, and it just seems like they can probably get a flip side of this.
Absolutely, those bubbles were extremely clutch, trying to push out every single one of the members of Discreet Destruction into the zone where they could easily be picked off by the bubbles and the teammates of Bubbleburst. Now you can see that the K-Gal is actually pushing on the right side. The Discreet Destructions do pop their armor trying to live, and they do live. They're not getting a pick here. They have to pop the booyah.
Yeah, and it seems like Discreet Destruction manages to take down the Booyah Bomb right now, and it's going to be pushing up. It's now a 2v4 situation, and in the end, they're trying to get the zone taken care of. Booyah Bomb gets deployed, separating the teams, but they do capture the zone, and it's not going to be any penalty points to Burst Balls.
Right, what Discreet Destruction needs to do is just hold this zone. There's 13 seconds left. They have the lead. They just don't want it to be neutralized, and it is neutralized right now. If Bubbleburst can get the zone, they might be going into an overtime situation.
Yeah, and it seems like with time remaining, the game ends and Discreet Destruction takes the second game against Burst Bubbles in Splat Zones.
Right, it is, again, the double zone situation. You need both those zones capped, and Bubbleburst just couldn't get that zone cap at the end.
Yes, indeed. The Discreet Destruction had the aggressive advantage against them, thus pushing back as much as possible. Burst Bubbles did manage to defend as much as possible, but in the end, Destruction manages to hold its own until the timer runs out.
Right, but this third game, Rainmaker on Moray Towers. This is a very interesting pick here.
Yes, indeed. Now, with Mori Towers is an interesting map to play in, especially when it's all narrow and very elevated. But what makes it more chaotic is Rainmaker. You don't need to be at one place, but you have to be from their base to another, and it's gonna take a narrow street all the way up to the top in order to make the goal.
Absolutely. I wonder if any of these players know the ink rail little mechanic on this map, where you just where you take the Rainmaker and just go on the ink rails.
Yes, indeed, and Ink Rails does seem like an effective way to push, but it leaves you with a more vulnerable stage, so having to make use of the Ink Rail will be a little bit more complicated if the opponent manages to target you.
Right, right. Something like a, I would love to see a jet here, but also something that's able to flank maybe.
Probably so. A flank would maybe be more effective on this map. Um, I would like to see some ranged weapons here. I know tinted missiles might be more effective here, but with Stingray, how is this going to be played here on this map?
Stingray, you really have to be effective with your Stingray. You have to be able to aim down or up. It's not just linear like all the other maps. You really have to be effective with that Stingray and just know where your enemy is.
Yes, indeed. And it's gonna take a lot of work from both teams to make sure that they can get the Rainmaker right up onto the top of Mori Towers and reach to the goal. Nearly. What will they do with it? We will have to see.
Right, as we get into the game, we'll see what each team pulls out. On the side of Bubbleverse, we do see a Sploosh.
A Splusha Manic, that's interesting. The Splusha Manic right now is going to be taking the alternative route, just painting their base as much as possible, probably getting a splashdown.
Right. I do like the idea that the Sploosh has, trying to get those early specials and just painting them behind them and make sure if they do get wiped, the enemy does have a hard time of pushing into their base.
Yes, indeed, and right now the Splusha Manic Neo right now is just painting mid right now. No teams have picked up the Rainmaker so far, but one gets targeted by the missiles and goes down. It's interesting.
If they do pop armor, this is their chance right now. Discreet Destruction is pushing into the enemy base, trying to get a pick with that armor. And the missiles are popped, so the Rainmaker is also picked up. So they're really trying to pick a pick. The Zap does get a pick on one of them and does have a flank. This is a really effective push for the Zap.
Yes, indeed, but it seems like they're gonna fall down to the void. They do manage to get 2 picks, but the jump was kind of... That sucks, but right now the K-Shot right now is just painting the streets right now, probably getting their specials right now. They're gonna be targeted by tinted missiles too, actually, and Bubble Burst right now is gonna be carrying Rainmaker. It's gonna be targeted by tinted missiles at the moment, just waiting for an advantage to be take place.
Right, because this map is so wide and just horizontal and vertical, just you need to watch out for these flanks. And if one person from the side of Bubbleverse decides to flank, the entire front line of Discreet Destruction might fall.
Yes, indeed, and right now, this Bubble Burst is now taking a lead as they get to the first story of Moray Towers. It's not going to be a 2v3 situation right now, and we can see Neo Splish right now just hanging around in mid. 2 teams seems like they're going to be taken out, but 10 seconds remain for the Rainmaker holders. They're going to have to push as much as possible before they get taken down. They managed to do so on the ink rail, but didn't land on the ground before getting taken out.
And that ink rail is actually very great to gain some extra points for yourself, because I'm pretty sure you still get some points by being on that ink rail.
Yes, indeed, but touching the ground is what makes it worth it. So right now we're gonna see Discreet Destruction right now, just painting mid against Bubble Burst. Rainmaker starts to reset, so it's now the only time before either Discreet Destruction adds pressure to Bubble Burst or Bubble Burst trying to see if they can add more points to their score.
So the Discreet Destruction really needs to use their missiles and their specials in order to push back Bubble Burst, in order to get some area for them to push.
Yes, indeed, and right now it's Seems like Bubble Burst is still hanging around in their base right now, but it seems like they're going to be pushing up right now. As this is a 3v1 situation, though no teams have picked up the Rainmaker so far, so we're seeing that the team with Bubble Burst just defending and pushing back Discreet Destruction as much as possible.
Bubble Burst has picked up the Rainmaker, but a shot from the side of Discreet Destruction. The K-Shot's just waiting for the Rainmaker to just pull up. Oh, and they do get that pick on the side of Discreet Destruction, but they do die on the hands of the Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed, and right now the Rainmaker is just holding back right now as they're being pressured by the teams of Discreet Destruction. They're just waiting for the opponent to get splatted. They do manage to get the pick out of it, and it's just a matter of time before they reach the first story, waiting for their teams to come up and defend them as much as possible.
Right, Bubble Burst is managed to make a decent push, but oh, the K-Shot does get the trade, which is very crucial for the side of Discreet Destruction.
Yes, indeed, and right now we see a mini splatting right here, getting some picks right now, but it does go down by the inset right now, and it's just gonna try and push to see if they can grab a Rainmaker. Now, they only have 1 minute remaining, and they need to push to take the lead as much as possible. Bubble Burst is just defending their base just so they can't push through.
The armor's being popped on the side of Discreet Destruction. They're not able to get any solid picks or push or anything. It is a 3v3 situation right here, and the Zap is trying to push up to get any picks at all. And they do get the mini, but they do go for the trade.
Yes, indeed, and right now it's just a cancel slash machine with V-Jet right now, trying to make sure that Discreet Destruction doesn't push forward. And they're trying to defend as much as possible. You see a splashdown, getting the pick on the inset far end of the map, but it seems like the Rainmaker might get pressured into getting back to mid, but you can see right now there's one team for Bubble Burst trying to push as much as possible, but the Rainmaker does go down, and it seems like Bubble Burst will be taking a win against Discreet Destruction.
Right, the 2-1 on the side of Discreet Destruction. Bubble Burst actually getting one of the rounds this round, which is very nice to see. It was a very nice back and forth of both teams, but Discreet Destruction just wasn't able to figure out this map, and they weren't able to make an effective push.
Yes, indeed, and Bubble Burst managed to defend as much as possible. They did get the 44 points they need, and all they had to do was defend, and which worked in their favor.
Right, that was round 3 of It's Dangerous to Go Alone. But don't go anywhere, because we'll be back for round 4. Welcome back to It's Dangerous to Go Alone. Is us, Andu, and Mr. Rookie.
Hello, everyone. We are now going to be going into round 4 of Premier Larry Swiss. It's
Yeah.
going to be a last map before we reach the top cut. But we do see crazy consideration and the return of Discreet Destruction, pulling up some more points before the top cut happens.
Right, if you remember, Discreet Destruction went 2-1 in round 3, and now they're against Crazy Consideration, so we'll see how they do again.
Yes, indeed, and we all know Discreet Destruction has some good advantages in an aggressive manner, so we're going to see how Crazy Consideration can pull this off against them.
Absolutely, so the maps on round 4, it's Clamblitz Kelp Dome. Clamblitz Kelp Dome.
This is an interesting one because Kelp Dome is, in my opinion, one of the unusual maps you can use. You've got some grades, you've got a squared map with the rounded middle, but it's Clamblitz. So getting to a small choke area before reaching up to the goal is going to be a difficult thing to do.
And there's also the exploit where you could throw clams from mid. I wonder if anyone here will actually abuse that exploit in order to score some points.
Yes, indeed, but it's only time will tell to see what's going to happen. Now, both teams will have to gather clams as much as possible before reaching the point. But we're going to have to see it for ourselves once we get to Clamblitz in Kelp Dome.
Absolutely. As we start round 4, we're gonna see Crazy Consideration in the yellow.
Crazy
They're gonna-
Consideration. Sorry.
Yeah, they're gonna be pulling up with the Tri-Slosher, and both teams here are actually pulling up with pretty linear comps.
Now, this is interesting to use Trisos in Kelp Dome, but right now both teams are now going to be pushing out, gathering your clams right now before we reach into mid right now. As we can see Keisha right now just hanging around base, painting up the area before moving forward to mid. They're going to try to like throw everything at the team, thinking that there's going to be an opponent at the other side of the ramp.
Right, so we could see that the blue team, Discreet Destruction, is really just hanging around in this area, and we actually see the Tri-Slosher from Crazy Consideration trying to go for a flank, but not be able to because of those missiles.
Yes, indeed. There was attempted flank there, but did not go well as Discreet Destruction manages to be aware of it. But Discreet Destruction right now is going to be pushing up towards the choke area, but it seems like Tri-Slosher manages to get a few picks out of it right now. So right now, Crazy Consideration is going to be defending until they get pushed back against Discreet Destruction right now.
Absolutely, Discreet Destruction went 2 down, and so this is Crazy Consideration's time to get mid, get their specials. Their clam economy is extremely healthy, so they have that armor that you can use with the Tri-Slosher. They do pop that Booyah and make some space and the armor, so let's see if they can make that play.
Yes, indeed, and right now Tri-Slosher goes down and gets a splash medic right now, but Crazy Consideration right now recovers this, and now it's only a matter of time before they can try to play it safe before getting taken down actually by Discreet Destruction. So they're gonna start pushing up toward past their mid and hopefully probably get to reach the goal point.
Miss from both teams being absolutely a dominant factor of just stopping all these pushes. And we see the missiles coming out from Discreet Destruction, just trying to destruct all of the players on Crazy Consideration, and we see a lot of these specials being thrown out.
Yes, indeed, and right now they're putting in all the stops right now, all the specials from Discreet Destruction is going, but they're still struggling to try to get to the goal right now. Crazy Consideration is trying to defend the point as much as possible right now, and we can see Jaden right now trying to juggle 2 power clips right now, making sure that they don't lose any clan economy before reaching to the goal.
But they do go 2 down, 3 down on the side of Crazy Consideration. This is their time to push. It is just a CJ. They need to go now or never. And they do open that basket. They do have 2 power claps, so this might be an absolutely huge push. They get both of them in. Oh my gosh.
Yes, indeed. Triple power clams being thrown to the goal. So now Discreet Destruction will now have 40 points with Crazy Consideration and having to figure out what to do in order to make the push happen on their end. As you can see right now, Splash Medic right now is just winning on, trying to shark as much as possible. They get targeted along with their teammates by the Tenta missiles, and now it's gonna be a situation where they might have to defend as much as possible, but with the clan economy on Discreet Destruction's end, we might see a push happen again.
Absolutely. It looks like Crazy Consideration is trying to push up without many clams. They have around 15-ish clams, but they do, as I say that, they do get a lot of clams. They are able to make that push. They have one down on the side of Discreet Destruction. Let's see if they can be able to push and splinter their ass.
Yes, indeed. And right now, Trash Slasher is carrying the Power Clam right now. They got the Booyah Bomb in their hand right now, but the 10th Missiles is being targeted right now. So the Trash Slasher goes down, and now it's going to be a 2v3 situation. Crazy Consideration still holds a Power Clam, and along with more Clan economies on their end, it seems like they're going to push right now, but fails to make the goal right now. But now we're going to see another teammate, the K-Shot, trying to hold the Clan as much as possible, but hopefully to get some picks off of the Discreet Destruction before making it the goal.
We'd love to see anyone from the side of Crazy Consideration just try to flank and try to get these guys behind us. Or behind of Discreet Destruction. I don't think they're looking, but as I say that, they do score 2 of the power clamps that they have.
Yes, indeed. And right now, 3 teams from Crazy Consideration go down, so now it's going to be 60 to 40. They did get 2 power claims onto the go right now, but they have about 40 seconds remaining actually before they can try to make another push and take that lead against Discreet Destruction.
Absolutely. Crazy Consideration really needs to control mid here and just get the clan economy up. It seems that they have 40, but as the K-Shot does go down, it is a very crucial pick as there's 20 seconds left.
Yes, indeed, the 20 seconds left. Discreet Destruction is just hanging around mid right now. They know they have the advantage against Crazy Consideration right now, so all they have to do is just defend. But the specials are coming out against Crazy Consideration, and they have gathered a lot of claims, and Crazy Consideration has gathered a lot of claims right now. So it's only a matter of time when they have to push. But the overtime is now in session, so now Crazy Consideration has to push, or nothing will be done.
And we see that the toxic mist, the suction bomb just completely being spammed on the entrance. This is a crucial time to flank, but it looks like all 4 players of Crazy Consideration are on this choke point, and it does not get anything done on the side of Crazy Consideration.
Yes, indeed. Discreet Destruction managed to push them off as much as possible, and the overtime ends with Discreet Destruction gaining a point against Crazy Consideration in Kelp Dome.
It's actually crazy to think about how all the points scored in this round were due to power clams.
Yes, indeed. And when this map is, you have to take into consideration when you are closer to the goal, there's going to be that massive choke point between you and the goal. And though in the mid looks small, the chaotic matter makes up for it.
Absolutely, but as we go into Shelfdorf Tower, this is a map where backline shine, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed. And with the possible backliners taking advantage on top of the roof, it's no. With the backline being on top of the roof, they managed to get all the range that they can get in order to push the tower.
Absolutely, we saw that there was actually a C-Jet or a jet from both sides of Crazy Consideration and Discreet Destruction, and we'll see if they both pull it out here in Shelldorf Tower.
Yes, indeed. And along with this map going in favor of Stingray, it might be possible we might see some specials happening in this map mode, but we'll have to see.
Absolutely, I'd also love to see something like a jet happening here, as you could jet from the right side, travel across onto the glass, and try to pick off their backliner.
Yeah, especially when you're launching an inkjet on the roof, you have the eye in the sky, and with enough range to make that happen, it will be enough push for you to push the team out of the way and making sure you can reach the goal in no time.
Absolutely. We also need to see some flanks happening for both teams. We saw on the first map that Crazy Consideration and Discreet Destruction, both teams did not flank.
Yes, indeed. So with this map, it's very easy to work around Shelldorf 62 and climbing up towards the roof and making sure that the backline doesn't know you're there in order to splat them. It could be an effective flank right there, but we'll have to see.
Right, as we go into the second game of round 4 on Shelldorf Institute Tower, we see that it is pretty the same. It is pretty much the same comp for Crazy Consideration, but a K Rapid coming out from Discreet Destruction.
Yes, yes, indeed. And K-Rapid might be more effective as he can get picks on top of the roof while at the bottom floor. So it might be possible to push back any backliners before the backliners can get a pick off of the K-Rapid.
And as we predicted, the two jets did appear on this map.
Yes, indeed. And right now we see the intercept just painting around the base right now, making sure that they get the areas under control. But we see Crazy Consideration right now getting tower at the moment, so they're just gonna have Discreet Destruction is gonna have to find a ways to make sure they can get the picks around the tower. But Booyah Bomb is gonna be launched towards over the roof and onto the Discreet Destruction's base. Right now they're going to be reaching towards the second checkpoint, but they're sort of struggling to make the checkpoint happen.
Right, Crazy Consideration does pop that armor. A lot of specials being thrown onto the tower. Missiles, array, armor, all these specials. But the Crazy Consideration, they can't get this first checkpoint. They just haven't been around. But as I say that, they do get that first checkpoint. But now is the time to push forward because there's still a lot of these members of Discreet Destruction on this right side, and they do get 2 down on the side of Crazy Consideration. They're 3 down now.
Yes, indeed, and right now it's going to be a 4v2 situation. Crazy Consideration is now being pushed back against Discreet Destruction right now, and right now the Destruction is now going to be getting past the first checkpoint onto the map, onto the next. The armor does get popped and steam, but the stingray on Crazy Considerations and gets popped along with technical missiles right now, making sure that the Discreet Destruction doesn't push anymore, but one team there does manage to do so, but Treasure right now is going to have to deal with a baller before making a defense happen.
Right, they do go 3 down, and they do get the late wipe on the K Rapid, which is pretty bad on the side of Discreet Destruction. They're going to have 1 person down on this next push from Crazy Consideration. Missiles, armor, Ray being popped.
Yes, indeed, and right now, Crazy Consideration did get back their lead, but they're going to have to push through second checkpoint in order to get the huge gap against Discreet Destruction. But the problem is right now is that it's almost a wipe against Crazy Consideration, so now Discreet Destruction, we're gonna have to push, paint the map, get full control out of it, and trying to get back that lead again.
We did see 2 members of Discreet Destruction on their glass shooting at the tower. I think that's what Crazy Consideration really needs to just consider, and they need to clear those people off of the glass.
Yes, indeed, and right now Discreet Destruction is just holding on to the tower as much as possible, and they managed to get on tower, reach second checkpoint, and take the lead against it. You can see Crazy Consideration popping Stinger right now, and just trying to make their way through before Destruction manages to push through, but they're getting close to the last checkpoint, so it's going to be difficult to tell whether or not Crazy Consideration stops this push.
Absolutely, the K-Gal behind them is trying to do everything in order to stop this push, but they're going to 8. They almost capped. They almost KO'd.
They almost KO'd right now, and it seems like they're trying to get the pick as much as possible, but few teams trying to push through the tower, but didn't get the KO as much as possible. But now Crazy Consideration will have to do everything they can in order to make the lead again, but it's going to be a big gap to do that, and Discreet Destruction is going to have to defend it as much as possible if they want to keep the lead going.
Alright, they have 4 specials on the side of Crazy Consideration. They're ready to pop. They pop the Booyah, they pop the armor, they pop the missiles. Let's see if they get anything for those 3 specials.
Yes, indeed, and right now we see two jet disruptors right now holding these specials right now. One gets a Stinger pop and ready to go. And armor comes out from Discreet Destruction right now. It's now almost a full wipe with the C-Jet right now being pressured to be pushed back. Discreet Destruction, only with 46 remaining, either have to defend their lead from Crazy Consideration or push to make it to the knockout. Booyah Bomb does go onto the roof right now, and they're just trying to make sure that the Crazy Consideration doesn't push again.
I mean, there's 30 seconds left on the clock. Crazy Consideration building all their specials. Oh, but the C-Jet does go down. That is such a crucial pick on the side of Discreet Destruction.
Yes, indeed, that crucial may be beneficial for Crazy Consideration, but with that loss, and who knows what's going to happen. it'll take a miracle for Crazy Consideration to get that lead again. With less than 10 seconds remaining, they're gonna have to push all their might to make sure that they get the lead and Discreet Destruction doesn't get a point in this first round. We're now going to overtime. All bets are off right now. It seems like TriStarter right now is going to be holding out the mid, but it goes down by the K-Rapid. K-Rapid is getting 2 picks out of that and manages to get the tower, ending in a game with Discreet Destruction, getting that second point in the Swiss round.
Push from Discreet Destruction all the way to, I believe, 4. It was just absolutely insane, and Crazy Consideration just couldn't break through. They couldn't break through that second checkpoint. They just couldn't push past it.
Yes, indeed, and with that big gap, it was a massive push that they have to do, but Discreet Destruction manages to defend as much as possible with K-Rapid, getting the picks, reaching towards the tower, and ending that overtime before Crazy Consideration could keep pushing.
Absolutely. And now on to Game 3 of Anchovy Games. What do you think about this zone?
Well, Anchovy Games is an interesting one. The mid is larger than some of the maps that we've seen so far, so everything is going to be more chaotic in the mid, but the fans that they have can give access to each team stuff like that they need, so we're going to have to see how these teams are going to have to play out.
Absolutely. If we see those 2 jets that we have seen in the past 2 games, I feel like these jets will be very, very abusive to every single person on both sides. It's just the range and just the special spam, the mist, the burst bombs, just absolutely gonna wreak havoc on the zone and the players in it.
Yes, indeed, and this map is very beneficial for backline weapons, especially for C-Jet, when you can paint around all the zone you want, target the teams from afar with missiles, just keep the pressure on them as much as possible.
Absolutely. I also want to see a flank from the right fan.
Yes, indeed, the right fan is crucial if you want to get the flanks down. It is also something that the defending team will have to keep an eye on if any fans become active, because once the opposing team gets into your base, you now have to focus on the team that's flanking you instead of what's on the objective, and that could be very dangerous.
If we get something like a C-Jet or a K-Gal or just anyone over there on the enemy base, now the enemy team has to look at 2 dangers instead of just 1.
Yes, indeed, and right now we're going to be going to the last round of preliminaries. We got some interesting comps here. TriStarter is still making a rounds in this round, in this match, but what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I believe Crazy Consideration hasn't changed the comp at all, but Discreet Destruction, they've now changed to double Zap, almost triple, I think that's triple missiles now on the side of Discreet Destruction.
Yes, indeed, and right now we're going to see a lot of pressure coming from Crazy Consideration. They're going to try to make sure that Discreet Destruction doesn't make a lot of pushing. Right now, they have 89 points against Crazy Consideration, so Crazy is going to have to capture the zone to make sure that they defend, and they got 2 picks going down, so they're going to have to push down to make sure they don't push forward as much as possible, but the missiles do go up, and it seems like they're going to try to keep the aggressive manner going.
Right, they do pop those double missiles from the V-Jet and the K-Shot. They are trying to push them out, trying to dislocate them, trying to just get any picks possible, but oh, they do get the Zap. But the V-Jet does go down on the side of Crazy Consideration. It's a 3v3 situation. Oh, now a 2v2. Now it's a zone scramble.
Yes, indeed. And right now, the zone is in danger for Crazy Consideration. They're going to try to hold as much as possible, but they do manage to succeed in defending it. Now we see a V-Jet right now just throwing mist all over the place, and right now getting some missiles on a few teams right now, managing to push them back and gaining the zone as much as possible. But it seems like Crazy Consideration does not want to back up for too long, as they want to keep the push going. But the penalty points that they have right now is going to take a lot more longer in order to reach the KO.
But they do go down. Crazy Consideration goes 2 down on defense, or sorry, on offense, and this is a crucial pick for Discreet Destruction, as they prolong their defense and they get more points on their timer.
Yes, indeed, and right now it's a back and forth situation right now with Crazy Consideration. TriStarter capturing his zone but fails to do so. Discreet Destruction is getting closer to the lead right now, but Crazy Consideration is pushing up in an aggressive manner right now, making sure to keep back up as much as possible. Booyah Bomb attacking misses will off to the zone right now. They do manage to capture zone, and Discreet Destruction now has to deal with penalty points if they want to make the lead going.
Like, these missiles are absolutely devastating for both teams. Both teams getting caught off by teammates' missiles or just missiles in general. It's just absolutely insane. The 5 missiles coming out from both teams. It's just there are missiles everywhere.
Yes, indeed, and they just noticed right now there was a flank going. They did get a trade against the NSAP, but another NSAP is going to be pushing in to take care of the zone right now. Discreet Destruction will have to go through penalty points, making sure that the basic incineration doesn't push even farther if they want to get the lead going. But the missiles right now is being targeted by the NSAP right now, trying to make sure they can hold on to armor if they want to extend the defense to the maximum.
Right. A few people do go down on the side of Crazy Consideration, allowing Discreet Destruction to potentially get this lead and pull out their defense.
Yes, indeed, and right now Discreet Destruction finally gets the lead right now, so now it's only a matter of time before they can defend and reach the knockout. Crazy Consideration now has to push as much as possible because they're not getting close to the knockout right now with 10 points remaining to go down in this situation. Take the missiles out, but it's getting closer to the time for running to the end. They succeeded in getting the zone in time before the knockout, and Crazy Consideration is going to be taking the zone from there.
They do eventually cap that zone, but they have to fight against a team that has almost KO'd. It's their points at 2. You have to almost KO at this point.
Yes, indeed, and right now, it's going to take a lot of effort right now, but the penalty points have now gone away, and it's just 30 points remaining. Though they're going to be targeted by tender missiles right now, but they're going to be throwing back at it. But Crazy Consideration lost a team member right now, so it's going to be a situation right now where Discreet Destruction manages to capture the zones, and now it's just 14 points in two for Consideration and 2 points for Discreet. How they try to push, we'll have to see.
Like, these missiles, again, just absolutely displacing the players of Crazy Consideration, just not letting them go anywhere, like tripping over each other's missiles. It's just absolutely insane, but it does look like an armor pop on the side of Crazy Consideration. They might be getting a pick, but oh, the Tri-Selection does go down.
Yes, indeed, they're all bets off right now. 20 seconds remaining, and they're getting close to the knockout. They have to push all they can, but Discreet Destruction manages to get the KO and stopping that push from happening. And Discreet Destruction gets 3 against Crazy Consideration.
It was a decisive win on zones, just absolutely just missile barrage. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. Discreet Destruction manages to seek through the cracks and making sure that they get the capture zone and holding it until they get the lead. This Crazy Consideration did everything they can to manage the zone, but in the end, Discreet Destruction takes it game to 3-0.
So this was our preliminaries. Don't go anywhere because our top cut would be starting very soon.
And we will see you all again with new commentary as well. Hope you all enjoy Top Cut and on the rest of its dangers to go along. Thank you for watching. Okay, so before we go though, Andy, where we can find you?
So you can find me on Twitter, Asian Andrew. That's my Twitter handle. You know, Mr. Rookie, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Mr_Rookie__. This is going to be a new username going forward. But yeah, this is where you can find me on Twitter from now on.
Right. It has been a pleasure. And I hope everyone enjoys their Top Cut.
Thank you, and have a good night.
What is awkward? The screen?
Uh,
Huh. What help desk? Where
Which
help
one?
desk? Attorney help desk. What am I looking at?
Please.
Stealth, drop us please. You're gonna play the last game of set.
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
Why? Why did they do that?
Stealth is Oof. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get out of
Okay.
here. I'll go back to the other VC.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to It's Dangerous to Go Alone Season 33, the Top Cut, more specifically, the Power Bracket. I am DJam98, and joining me halfway across the world is Skep. Hello, hello.
Hello there. How is your morning going, DJ? It's starting, isn't it?
It is currently 8:38. I've been up since 3:30, and I have had several heart attacks throughout the day, but I'm pushing through.
Well, thank you for doing it for us on the other side of the globe. It is appreciated. You're doing some good work here.
I do. Yeah, thanks for saying that. But regardless of what time it is and how tired I may be, we've got some matches to get through, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do. We will be starting off with Hesitant Hope versus Angry Applause with the rosters here on screen. I'm a little bit familiar with the players on the side of Hesitant Hope. I once played a pickup with Dre over there. The rest of them, we're going to get to know them better throughout the tournament, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And these teams, like, you've seen them throughout the day. We've seen Angry Applause make some absolutely incredible plays, and same from Hesitant Hope. They've both been playing, I believe they've played against each other at one point during the tournament already, so it'll be interesting to see how these two teams will come together when in the top cut. So previously on the preliminaries it has been a play all three set, and now heading into top cut where only the top 4 teams who got their points throughout the preliminaries will be moving on. Only these top 4 teams will now be playing a best of 5 set. So, in case you don't know what best of 5 is, first to 3 games wins. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to see from these teams.
Yeah, something interesting about these two teams is both of them lost to one of the teams on the other side of the bracket, that being Fancy Fish Fingers. So here they are competing for a chance to possibly have a rematch there. Starting off, we do see that they've been sticking to rather shooter-esque comp, but I am very excited to see that sploosh in the hands of Sabino on Rainmaker Blackbelly. It's just a very, very good pick there.
Absolutely. Rainmaker Blackbelly, you've got that tower gone, but you've still got a lot of movement opportunities to go. We see Sabrina here does have the hammer and does get that splat onto Sylvie, as well as just moving around the arena, just getting that hammer out and just being absolute menace coming out. And that Rainmaker is already pushing all the way past, nearly to 50, past 50, and that is just Rainmaker just sailing straight for the goal, but gets taken out, and that...
Ooh, we have a DC. The Tri-Slasher has DC'd on the side of Angry Applause. What are the rematch rolls there? Because they were at 29.
They were at 29. I don't know when they stopped playing and when the DC exactly happened.
Does the DC... Oh, that's a good question.
I noticed the DC at 30, but there was a straight shot, so that's a I will I think we'll allow a replay for that, just because it was all in one push, and it was and generally when a DC you're stuck for a few seconds before you actually DC. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that happened before the 50 checkpoints, and it was also all in one push. So we'll allow a redo on that. It's also really quick, so we're not losing much time anyway.
Okay, lovely. So we'll be seeing Rainmaker Blackbelly again, and they have to stick to the same comps, correct, DJ?
Correct. We don't really want to give any team that advantage knowing what each comp is going to be. So, assuming that they're all going to be good people and ready up quickly, hopefully we'll dive straight back into the match. You have to hope. I can't promise, obviously. I don't physically have my hands over these players being like, I am your TO, you must follow me. There's only so much I can do.
Well, we did have the Seajet and the Sploosh over on the side of Angry Applause. So those are two very specific picks that can be used to take advantage of Blackbelly Skatepark Rainmaker in particular, because both Hammer and Ray can really set up a really strong right side push. And that's exactly what we saw in the opening of the last game. So I'm curious to see how they can exploit that strategy to definitively take the game this time around.
Definitely. But something also, now, while they're not really allowed to change their comp, they're still going to know that they're going to try and push like that in the first 30 seconds of the match.
Yeah.
So if you are on, I don't know, I can't remember which team did have the DC, but I believe it was Hesitant Hope had the DC. So if you are on Hesitant Hope, you're maybe thinking, maybe we don't go as aggressive at the start. We just build ourselves a little bit of a defensive perimeter and spread ourselves out so we don't get completely caught out by those stingrays and hammers. So we're not lining up for us to get literally slapped down on by that hammer.
Yeah, and so you can't change your comp, but you can change your behavior, right? You can change your opening in deciding to go to 4 pop or not, right? Because Hesitant Hope now knows that Angry Applause is most likely going to win pop and then start gunning for it. So how do you remedy that? You don't go for pop at all, and you take your time to paint as much for specials, get some turf on the ground. That way you have room to work instead of necessarily changing your comp. You can change how you open. So that's the replay effect, right?
Yeah, it really is. And we'll get into this match soon. Those teams just they just got my words are jumbling on themselves. They got back into the game and they're all ready up. Lovely to see. Angry Applause in orange and Hesitant Hope in purple. Let's see this match, and it's looking like a pretty similar comps. I'm pretty sure that's the same from memory, but my memory is pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, those are the same comp.
All right, let's dive back into this match. We're seeing both teams going for trying to get that Rainmaker pop, but it does seem that Hesitant Hope do get that, and with a very early Stingray coming out from Hesitant Hope, as well as that hammer combo as well. That's what we were just talking about in that break, that hammer combo, but not able to get up the ledge. Sabino does throw that, not able to get any picks, and just painting a path for that Rainmaker, just dancing around these players to try and find some picks, try and find some splats, and try and find an opening for that Rainmaker. But the Rainmaker does go down, unfortunately, and that's going to give Angry Applause a bit of opportunity to get some cover and get some points.
Yeah, and we have Angry Applause here taking the time to paint up. I do like the positioning that the Sploosh was doing on hills previously, because that can give your teammates some stimulus that's taken away from the Rainmaker, so the Rainmaker can start to push further up right, or you can send somebody run left to get some picks and secure the push that way. Regardless, the positioning here from Hesitant Hope does seem to be as far spread out across the map and covering as much ground as physically possible. So while they didn't get too many points, they should be able to get more here.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that Kai here just trying to get some picks, but with the Dapple Julies down, that might make it a little bit hard. And Kai just getting pushed back by the Booyah Bomb and the Splat Bomb, and with 2 players down, Kai's just going to sit back here, try and get that special charged up as Angry Applause starts to gear up for their first push. Stingray and Inkhammer and Tenor Missiles all coming out together to make a cohesive push, but EST getting spotted out by Stingray and gets taken out by Kai, also getting that splat onto Star Ally.
We appreciate that is a 52 Gal Deco. Not a pick seen too often, but it is one that I personally do rather enjoy on this map. And here we go, seeing some picks not just with the special, but with the main weapon as well.
Absolutely, and it's really good to see Kaisa get these splats, get this turf going. Stingray obviously is an incredibly good special at shutting down that Rainmaker, but if you could use your main weapon too, that's even better, as Kaisa gets that splat onto EST as well, and that Rainmaker is just going to keep on pushing all the way up to 38, and with 2 players down on either side, it's just going to be a fight for the scramble on the Rainmaker right there.
Do think Hesitant Hope here can believe this out. Flame King trying to contest the pop, but not really able to do much against a Stingray and multiple bombs. So this is a go for Hesitant Hope. Oh no, Sabino caught on the ledge a little bit. A stall out here could be huge. It's just the K-shot. Sabino going in for that dunk and taking game 1 in favor of Hesitant Hope. Rather clean team play at the end there.
Absolutely. Getting all that teamwork going together. Sure, you had that little bit of a hump to get around, that little bit of ledge to get around, but they managed, with that teamwork they were providing, they got around that, they had that opportunity to get back, and getting that 3 down, and even a soft wipe at the end, really solidified that push, and really solidified the Hesitant Hope taking game 1 of this set.
Yeah, and I could see some of Hesitant Hope's comp doing very well. on Clamblitz Reef. Stingray can be pretty interesting in terms of making sure that car is clear from bridge, giving teammates some space to push up from underneath basket. In addition, the hammer from the sploosh can perform a similar role in terms of just going in and allowing someone to swim in behind you with a power clam. So I think Hesitant Hope here within the comp that they just had might have some answers for Reef as well.
Yeah, they're definitely the Reef and Blackbelly. While one is definitely preferred in the competitive community, we're seeing pretty much every map in this tournament because it is our last season of IGTGA. But the Reef and Blackbelly have, while they do have their subtle differences, in terms of overall weapons you might bring, they are somewhat similar, except maybe you might not bring your super long range weapons like the Squelcher or an E-Leader to the Reef because you have that bridge that goes up. But other than that, they're, in my opinion, they're pretty similar stages.
Yeah, I see. To me, I can picture a leader on Reef, but I can't picture it on Blackbelly, specifically Rainmaker. So I find it interesting that you say that. I do agree in that the maps can be exploited in similar fashions, right? Because it's not about the geometry in particular; it's about how do you answer that geometry. And the long, narrow passageways, particularly through street, and you can kind of argue that the end-to-end for bridge can function in a similar manner, is answered in a same way that street is on Rainmaker Blackbelly, and that's by taking vertical space. And so I'm curious to see if Hesitant Hope is going to be sticking with a similar comp that they just did.
You almost think that they probably would. That Hammer and Stingray combination can be very effective on Clamblitz. But again, Angry Applause know what Hesitant Hope is bringing to the table. So they're going to be looking to do, hey, we might be changing our comp up too. Like, don't count us out just yet. As we dive into Clamblitz on the Reef, we're seeing that K-Pro, Carbon, and Try coming out from Angry Applause, and that K-Gal and I believe the Hammer is, the Hammer is still sticking, so they still have that Stingray and Hammer combination.
That's actually the 96 deco, so that is the splashdown wall, which can be used to create a lot of space on bridge and to hold that very strongly. The change that I find most interesting here is actually on the side of Angry Applause, switching from the Flingza to the Carbon deco. I think that could be very useful in terms of controlling bridge, because there's lots of little spaces to shark. And then also wall, because you can catch lots of players exactly like that.
Just saying it right out of the basket. Nocturna just throwing that power clam and just add a bit out of reach so they're not knowing where they are, which can be very effective when you're trying to avoid a tri-slosher on the bridge. But that power clam does go out as Sylvie gets caught out by Kaiser's Gal Deco there, trying to find some more black picks and just seeing that play out. But is that going to be a pick? Yes, gets the pick on to the Carbon as well. Kaisers finds some more clams here. They don't have enough yet. They have 5 and they're coming up to the basket. But with no clams there, they might be looking to provide some jumping opportunities, passing some clams down, and that's going to be a power clam going straight into the basket and then pushing those clams all the way down to 68 with a stamp and splashdown, making certainty that they have that area under their control.
And they're also going to be able to bleed this push out if they manage to dunk, but they don't, despite having players up in car, and now still maintaining control of that space, not able to push objective further. Something I did notice is Kaisa locking pods that allows them to continue to push past when they ordinarily would be able to, just leaving a little bit of clams behind here and there. So very good management of the clam economy there from Hesitant Hope.
Definitely. And Nocturna trying to avoid that Carbon. They're just going ham. 2 extremely short-range weapons coming at each other. Nocturna does win that with a little bit of assist from their teammate as Nocturna is trying to find another player that's coming out, the Tri-Slosher. But the Tri-Slosher does have, the Slosher power as Hesitant Hope here. Sabino looking to get some more power clams coming in. Karma and Splashdown coming out. Hammer is also at the ready. Shoots the power clam in, but is not able to get any more clams in as 3 players do go down on the Hopes.
This is very huge for Angry Applause because what they need to do is get paint down. That way their Carbon can take some space to work, but very quickly going 2 down in a retake from Hesitant Hope. That is a lot of space that Angry Applause is not going to be able to access until they get the picks to force Hesitant Hope back.
Absolutely. Kaiser interesting movements there. Has the splashdown at the ready, using it, doesn't get any picks, and using that wall just get a little bit of leverage, a little bit of distance between them and the opponents. You're seeing there, Angry Applause does have that power clamp at the ready, and they also have a pity clamp at the ready, so they can get possibly down to 60 in a mere instant. But that is only if Hesitant Hope allows them to get that opportunity to push them in, and if you're on the Hopes right now, you're like, nah, we want the lead. But 2 players down on each side is going to allow opportunity to get turf on either side of the field right now.
You see, 64 is not that big of a lead on Clambless Reef in particular, especially if you get a really good wipe. Being able to push down those points can happen very, very quickly because you have lots of clam spawns within the street. So Hesitant Hope is doing a fantastic job in terms of taking space here, but not for long, because finally the Carbon is in a position to push up, and the hammer is not a functioning special.
I don't know what happened here, but are they going to be... No! Wait, 1 clam goes in, but that is not enough to get the 2nd clam in, and that is an incredible defense from Hesitant Hope, and an unfortunate push if you're on Angry Applause, as Hesitant Hope is getting ready to make an immediate counter push, but Kaiser gets caught out by a splat bomb. God of Dre getting out that in cover, looking to head straight for the basket, shoots the power clam in, but does get taken out, and that is going to be the end of that push. They do clear their penalty over and get a few more points on the board, getting it past 60, which is a little bit more of a safe position to be in. But now that Angry Applause do have some points on the board, it's still not that far of a difference in points still.
Yeah, and with so little time left, realistically, you need 1 decent push, and having 11 clams is the start. But Kaisa, just the bridge controller, king of the bridge, coming in and getting 2 very, very clean picks, and also maintaining an excellent amount of paint just completely around that area. Angry Applause needs to find a way to deal with this gal if they plan on breaking it.
Absolutely, Kaiser being menacing on the bridge, trying to find some picks, trying to find some players, gets the black splat onto the KFC, and just trying to find some players. Nocturna gets the splat, and the Angry Applause basket is open. They're going to need to find some more clams in, but they are holding the pity clam, heading into overtime. As soon as this basket closes, that will be game going to the Hopes.
It doesn't matter if you have a power clam, if the basket closes after overtime begins, it's still a loss. And that is the danger of dunking a power clam so close to when the match ends. Because if your team doesn't have the space to follow up, even if they manage to rush and form another power and try and secure overtime, clams is just very volatile in that every decision you make truly does matter, and your win condition is different at every point in the game. And fantastic defense from Hesitant Hope there, but that game was a lot closer than it really did look. They were never able to secure a large amount of points, and even that second push towards the end there only scored them 7 points, so they didn't really have a true sustained push either. So a very close game, even though it might not outwardly seem that way.
Absolutely. And that's what we really try and do in It's Dangerous to Go Alone. Like, these teams are pitted against each other. In the initial balancing, they're scheduled to be pretty much on par with each other in terms of their ELO ranking. Obviously, when we get subs and when people drop out, then things get a little bit wacky. I'm looking at you, every single person who dropped out of this tournament.
Got an angry TL behind the commentary booth.
I wouldn't say angry, I say frustrated. But regardless of whatever pent-up frustrations I might release into the world while I have this opportunity, we do now go away from those little, that I'd say mid-range stages, quite square-ish, but not. And then we're moving on to like completely open map Snapper Canal, which has the water.
Yeah, I still think 90. I really like Kaisa's. I believe it's Kaisa. One moment, yeah, Kaisa. I like their weapon picks. Particularly the 96 and 52 deco. I think that 96 and 52. We all know they're kind of busted.
I think we've all experienced. We've all had our fair experience of the K52 in Splatoon 2, especially at this point in the matter.
And complain all you want about it, it doesn't change anything. So you just kind of like gotta figure out how to work with it. But regardless, well, people really know 96 and 52 for the more infamous kits, that being the 96 with armor and sprinkler, and then obviously K52 with Bouillon Wall. Okay, we all know.
Yeah, we all know. We all suffer and we all know.
There are other kits on an
Believe
equally
it or not.
busted main weapon. So seeing those brought out does make me happy.
Yeah, believe it or not, there are other variants other than the K52. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you're seeing it literally in a tournament setting, top cut power bracket. That these weapons that aren't necessarily what is your heart and soul to the meta. Oh no, they can play well.
The meta is in your minds, okay? This squid has figured out a way around it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you can, honestly, in my opinion, if you can play any weapon good, like really good, you'll beat any meta. I'm sorry. If you play a weapon, like sure, if you're equally skilled at every single weapon, then yes, meta weapons will win. But if you're we're going straight into this game.
There is a match. We are in the game, and Angry Applause is pushing the tower. The comp is interesting. We have the VDS on the side of Angry Applause, so rocking with that double missile on Separate Canal can be very slippery because of how it's split up. I do really like that. And Hesitant Hope quickly going 2 down. Angry Applause at the second checkpoint.
Already, they didn't really have those early leads in the previous games, but already in the final, like this is their last opportunity to make a name for themselves and get into that flip. But no, Angry Applause dodge rolls into the water there. Like I was calling that earlier. This is Snapper Canal. It has that water, especially on tower control, where the tower just dances all along the water for at least half of the tower duration. But Kaiser gets that splat with the Squiffer. Like they went the 52, they went the 96, now they're at the Squiffer. Like it's a cycle almost.
I do like how both teams are running a VDS in particular. Like, that is not something that you see every day. VDS, like, yeah, it's the main weapon is good, you got your jump tech, but also that's just not a kit that you see, given that everybody is so used to running lethals. So the double point sensor battle, when did this happen?
It's happening right here and now. IDTJ season 33, and we're seeing that Angry Applause is going to continue on that push. A trade happening between these players. Maybe not a trade, having that missile having a little bit of assist there, but Hesitant Hope have now got some dominance over the tower with 3 players down on the side of Angry Applause. This is going to give Hesitant Hope that opportunity to get some turf going, get some points going, get their specials charged and ready to rock and roll. Ink Armor coming out from the side of Hesitant Hope, and you're seeing those point sensors just getting everywhere, trying to find these opponents and trying to support that inkjet that's coming out, getting those splats, and there we go. The Tri-Slosher gets traded. The Tri-Sloshers trade each other.
Yeah, something I found really interesting about that last exchange was just how much Dre was moving his body forward. There was never really a time I felt that he was giving up too much space. If he had the back, he rolled a bomb on the way out. So that definitely allowed Hesitant Hope to take space and get to tower. But now we're very quickly finding ourselves in a situation where Angry Applause has managed to push back in and is getting the picks that they needed to very quickly push Hesitant Hope right back out.
Absolutely, and now with both teams clearing that first checkpoint, it really couldn't be anyone's game to see who's gonna make a proper assertion over the lead. Hesitant Hope only need to start pushing that checkpoint just a bit for them to take the lead, but gets caught out by the Squiffer. And the Squiffer gets caught out by the Squelchers as they have some missiles at the ready, trying to find some players, but the gets splattered. It just keeps on going. The cycle of life is never ending.
Yeah, that was a very, and it keeps going. This is a very interesting chain of picks here. About a very solid minute of just nothing but scrap in mid. And I think as long as these players continue to stand in this square around where the tower would be, the way this is going to keep on happening. Because everybody can look at you from every direction once you're in mid in Snapper Canal, and that just makes it so dangerous. But Hesitant Hope, not giving in. We have Kaisa and Nesquika riding the tower. This could be a very, very big pick from Hesitant Hope, because now all that attention is shifted away from mid.
Absolutely. The mid has a lot of coverage, but this area does not have a lot of coverage, I say it, but these areas do, as they Hesitant Hope do clear that second checkpoint, as well as taking the lead. Sabina here with the Octobrush, trying to find some spots, but to get a trade happening between the Ink Brush, sorry, I forgot what it was called. I completely blank there. The
Octobrush?
No, the thing, the special. Inkjet! That's what it's called. The Inkjet and the Tri-Slosher there was absolutely critical there in switching this tower control over to the side of the Angry Applause, as EST is just sitting here on the tower with that K-shot, trying to find those opponents, trying to get some specials on the board. Like, those missiles can be really good at dispersing the opponents and just getting them away, as Angry Applause are now at the second checkpoint looking to clear it, but the Tri-Slosher coming up to the tower might make it hard, and Tri-Slosher just coming to the tower, climbing up, and just setting the score in.
GG's, the tower functions just like any other ledge in the game, and that you don't want to Tri-Slosher right underneath it.
No.
But one stray was under that tower, it was over. Without a godlike pick from, you know, a Stingray or something from across the map. Regardless, that was a very solid push there from Angry Applause at the end of the game, and I think just had a couple of exchanges at the very end gone their way. They could have pulled lead there, so GG's.
They really could have. It was just, you can see it there, the match was so close. Even though it was 3-0, they were literally inches away from taking that lead. It's just that Tri-Slosher, like, there's a reason I main Tri-Slosher on tower control exclusively, and that's because that Tri-Slosher, you know, has the sloshing capability.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, you're not gonna lie. I like using Tri-Slosher at tower control. Who would have guessed? But like having that absolute, that Tri-Slosher just coming up to the tower and just being, it's just doing what a Tri-Slosher does best, and just throwing ink upwards and just getting that splat onto the tower, and then just standing on the tower, and that was game right then and there.
It sure was. In a very exciting set, and I'm sure that we will see the members of Angry Applause, that being EST, Fling King, Sylveon, and Star Lily. We'll see them again. I know you have a lot of repeat competitors for It's Dangerous to Go Alone, so good luck to them the next time around.
The next time, well, we'll have Weakest Link in 2 weeks, but Splatoon 3, there, that's the next season of IDTJ will be in the Splatlands, the City of Chaos. So make sure to get your boarding tickets.
And without further ado, we will be right back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and don't go anywhere, because we have grand finals. Still waiting on our match on the other side, but it is very close. It has gone 2-2, so we won't be long.
Won't be long at all. Don't go anywhere.
Kids and Octolings, my name is Capitalians and I am here with D-Jam for the grand finals of the power bracket of It's Dangerous to Go Alone 33. We will be starting off with Hesitant Hope versus Fancy Fish Fingers, and this is a rematch from round 2 of Swiss, where Fancy Fingers did win 2-1. So Hesitant Hope did very, very well last set, going 3-0. But Fancy Fish Fingers on the other side of the bracket almost went down to Discreet Destruction, which is a team that Hesitant Hope beat in Swiss. So we got a little bit of a circle going on here, D-Jam.
It's like those like love triangles, except instead of love, it's brutal war. Which is a little bit weird to think about, but it's absolutely incredible to see like these teams. Like we've seen Fosh and God of Dre, and they're both very frequent players here in IDTGA. So to have these two players go against each other and in such a grand stage, we're in the grand finals of the power bracket of the final IDTGA for Splatoon 2. Like, this is the stage to be set. If you're a free agent, this is where you need to be right now.
And looking at the map list from what was going on round 2 of the preliminaries, you had Zones Manta, Rainmaker Wahoo, and Clam Blitz Albacore. And just taking an examination of the comps that Fancy Fish Fingers would have been running, especially with Fosh on a scope or an expo, you've got all that range to work with. And then we also, you got to take into account that Hesitant Hope has been running more shooter-esque comps that do tend to be shorter range. So Wahoo and Albacore, I don't know which games were won and which games were lost, but I see those and I think range. And then this is now a different situation because you had play all 3 for Swiss, but now we're looking at a best of 5 grand finals. So every game counts in such a different regard, and this could all be over on Walleye.
It really could, and it's just depending to see what these two teams are going to be going as we dive into our first match of this grand finals. We have the Fancy Fish Fingers in yellow and Hesitant Hope in blue. Let's see what these tunes are bringing to the battlefield.
Hesitant Hope with that very, very interesting Octo Brush Tri-Slasher comp, taking advantage of everything that Mako has to offer with that geometry in the middle of the map. Very quickly popping armor and going to be able to take a lot of space here, but so far, Fancy Fish Fingers winning the clam game, maintaining much better control despite everything that's that's 3 down on both sides.
3 down on both sides, like 1v1, where both players are split across the field, is not going to allow for much turf to be changed because there's only 1 player left. But now that all players have been respawned, those specials are also very much in a recharge state, except for Sabino's Ink. I forgot it again.
Inkjet!
Inkjet, there we go. I love my memory sometimes. Sabino trying to find some picks with that Inkjet, does get the assist onto the player there, and just trying to find some clans. 3 players down on the side of Fish Fingers as Hesitant Hope looking to find some picks, does miss the power climb, and that's going to go all the way up top, pretty much an unreachable spot to be in, which is unfortunate.
It is terribly unfortunate, but Hesitant Hope doing a good job in terms of backing up once that push was lost. Fancy Fish Fingers had control of their basket, they had control of their snipe, they only had control of what was in front of them. So Hesitant Hope making the smart decision to back off because so much can be lost so quickly on this map mode. Not only that, but they only had a power clam and a couple of clams in a couple of different players' hands. That push would not have been sustained very long.
Absolutely. And with the score still set to 0-0, it's absolutely anyone's game. Fosh here trying to get some picks with that Octobrush. Just looking, but Kaiser splats them. Kaiser gets splattered. And it's just mayhem. Inkjet coming out from the side of Hesitant Hope as they just trying to find some picks. Both teams do have a power clam at the rate. X-Limit gonna have a bit of a jump out of 5 meters as they're looking to find some clans. Gets the power clam in. Are they going to be able to get some more clams in? Power clam coming in from behind. Does get splattered, however, getting the points only to 74, which is not an incredibly immense push.
that's what happened so quickly on Clan Blitz Mako is now they've gone 3 down, and look where Hesitant Hope is. Now they have the power clam, now they have control of the entire map, and now they're pushing and they're going to be able to dunk here, but they miss again! Oh, that's the second time!
But there's someone is there to pick up, and are they gonna? There's no one there on the. Oh, gets the splat from below. Incredibly impressive there. Has got a Dre then up in the top corner. Is there, but is not able to head into the basket. A clam does come in from God knows where, and that is going to be the lead going to Hesitant Hope.
Yeah, but not by that much. Realistically, all Fancy Fish Fingers needs to do is score a power clam, and they will pull lead right back around. However, Hesitant Hope doing a great job of maintaining control of their own stack and getting the picks that they need to keep Fancy Fish Fingers out of their fish fry.
Absolutely, and we're seeing 2 power clams just go slam dunk to the basket. Splashdown and Incomer also coming out from the side of Hesitant Hope, and an Inkjet as they're just looking to find some picks. But Alamite looking to get some picks with that carbon roll there, just finding the plays, finding the picks, trying to see where can I make some mayhem as they just got that power clam now at the ready. Then Fancy Fish Fingers are looking to start to make their own counter push as they have 19 clams ready to fire at a moment's notice.
Given how claustrophobic Freezer can be under basket, you physically cannot push in a 2v4. And now we see that X Limit is the last surviving member of Fancy Fish Fingers, and still pushed so far back. And Dre coming in with a power clam is going to dunk it, but not enough to clear penalty. However, Hesitant Hope has so much ground and forward presence, dunking another power clam. They don't really have enough to be able to sustain this. They managed to toss a couple of clams, but this could be the end of the push for Hesitant Hope.
And definitely, but those are more clams! More clams!
Oh,
the clams just came in like someone was just going, I've got some clams here. Let me sneak my way to the basket and go bing, bam, boom, getting in the final 3 clams to take game 1 and declaring Hesitant Hope as taking game 1 of this set.
You know, if you're Fancy Fish Fingers, you're looking at this situation and you're like, heck, we won against these guys during the Swiss stage. They're not supposed to be winning right now. Right? But you know, Fancy Fish Fingers, they had that 3-2 set last set, so they're probably feeling a little bit tired, a little bit stressed, you know, and now they have this situation where Hesitant Hope takes game 1, and that's such a momentum shift in terms of their mindsets, because Hesitant Hope is like, we lost against these guys in the reverse, and here we are taking game 1. So can they carry that energy forward onto TC Camp Triggerfish? Which, by the way, DJ, Camp Triggerfish?
Yes. Oh. What are you saying?
I'm not saying anything, but I'm thinking a lot. I'm thinking a lot.
You're thinking a lot? Well, we literally said our advertising for this tournament was, yes, the final idea of Splatoon 2, and to celebrate that, we're including every single map and mode into the map pool, and look what came out. It's your lucky stick. It's the map mode stage you love the most, isn't it, Skip?
No, it's Rainmaker Moray. That's my favorite. I know I'm known for my cringe map taste. I get it. But it's Rainmaker Moray.
We had that earlier today.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh,
that was on. You missed it.
I would have signed up to play if I knew that was on the map list.
Oh well, the map list is released after registration's closed. The full map list. We have the map pool.
No.
We have the map pool out before signups close. Generally, if I get on top of it. But no, the map list is released after, so you wouldn't have known beforehand anyway.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. But regardless, I with my cringe Rainmaker Moray taste, I would never debase myself with Camp Triggerfish TC.
Well,
it's just shameful.
You have to. You're watching it right here and now as we dive into Game 2 of the Grand Finals of It's Dangerous to Go Alone Season 33, the Power Bracket on Tower Control, Camp Triggerfish, Fancy Fish Fingers in green, and Hesitant Hope in blue. Let's see what these two teams are bringing to the camp.
They're gonna need some fancy fish footwork in order to be able to avoid the water that cuts through half of this map. Bosch very quickly taking up that left side. Control of the elbows is so much more important here than just controlling the tower path.
Absolutely, as that elbow is where the tower's first checkpoint lies, as the fancy fish fingers looking to making that first push. But with 3 players down, that's going to be the end to that first push, as Hesitant Hope is getting some turf, getting some picks, and getting a wipe onto the fancy fish fingers. That's going to make a great counter push for the Hesitant Hope as they're looking to get the lead. And there we go, that is the lead, as the Stingray coming out, gonna push away the fancy fish fingers, as checkpoint 1 does go to Hesitant Hope.
Fancy fish fingers can't grab this tower. The moment there was that wipe in favor of Hesitant Hope, that just changes so much.
There's our first dive into the water.
Oh no. Oh no, DJ. Why? They have families.
They have families that can't swim. Don't take swimming lessons, guys. And the Dynamo trade between a roller and a Dynamo, not something you see very often, but it did happen, as the fancy fish fingers are looking to make a counter push. A suction bomb rush coming out from Kyoka here, as they're looking to clear that first checkpoint in retaliation. And there we go, first checkpoint is cleared. And X-Limit here is going to have to try and void that Stingray, but with not much places to go in that little bit, they're going to get taken out by the water as well.
DJ, they had to take the lead for the tower, and you know it was under water, and you know who did that to him? You.
I have the power, ladies and gentlemen. I have the power. But you know what? Omi has a splashdown coming straight down. Not able to get any picks there, as Omi is just trying to look and trying to find some picks. 1 player down on both sides right now. Either team could make an opportunity for a push. Income are also out on both sides, as 2 players. And like this, they're trading specials, and they're just jumping up. They're being very much of a cat and mouse game at the moment. But with everyone jumped back to base on the fancy fish fingers, that's going to give the Hesitant Hope the opportunity they need to push. Kaiser here with the Stingray, looking to get some splats and looking to get some damage done with that Stingray, but doesn't manage to get any. And a assist is going to take down that player, but no one's on the tower.
Yeah, no one's on the tower, and it's going back to mid, right? And you can't just grab the tower at any point on its way back. It has to fall back all the way to somewhere that's safe to grab it, and that's going to delay Hesitant Hope's continued push if they choose to do so. And here we go with another I like Takioka's bomb rushes in terms of, well, a lot of it's getting caught in the grate here. I've noticed their bomb rushes so far this game has been very forward moving, and they really take a lot of space in their forward presence. So very nice bomb rushes from that player there, and it is instrumental in this defense.
Absolutely. And here Kaiser with that Stingray, just constantly farming out that Stingray that they have. They've already got out 5 Stingrays in this match and 12 splats, which is absolutely incredible. But Kyoka is not going to make any difference, as they're just trying to get these picks, trying to get these splats, trying to avoid that suction bomb, which was on that pole. A little bit of an odd spot there. Booyah Bomb coming out from Hesitant Hope, looking to possibly get some defense going. But as the fancy fish fingers, that is lead! They took lead with only 1 player left alive. They still managed to take lead by 1 point.
Now the tower's got to go all the way back to mid, and Hesitant Hope take all the space that they can in front of them, and that Stingray coming out rather early. The players of Fancy Fish Fingers aren't really even in near objective yet, but they managed to get a pick with it. And the 52 Deco man, now pushing up all the way that left side, they have the tower path, they should be ready to go, but this is not going to be easy with you have Fancy Fish Fingers having all of those specials on.
No, the Booyah Bomb! They've trapped themselves! Oh, the tower comes back and they catch themselves! They catch themselves!
No, they get picked! Oh, they had that! They had that!
Oh, what was was that? I thought they were gone, but because the tower was able to, no one was on the tower went backwards and was able to catch them from falling into the abyss, but they got taken out, and immediately after, and is that going to be game as Hesitant Hope hops on the tower? Sabino splash on me at the last second, but it's not going to be enough for them to hop on the tower as Fancy Fish Fingers take game 2 of the set, setting the score to 1-1.
Fancy Fish Fingers have brought out the tartar sauce, and they are trying to tell Hesitant Hope that maybe game 1 shouldn't have given them any hope, because they squeaked on by there and were able to just pull lead by the absolute skin of their teeth. And Hesitant Hope, they had it at the end with the Dynamo Tower going down just before pulling lead. It was really, really bitterly close.
It really was. Like, that was such an incredible final minute of the match. Like, I'm telling you now, I'm gonna be using that from promotion later. Like, what a great few moments there. But people complain about Camp Triggerfish, but like that match, like, you can't complain about how that match went.
Yeah, it was a good match, DJ. I'm not.
It was a good match. It was a good match. Let's leave it at that. I don't need any more comments. It was a good match. Let's leave it at that comment.
You've got some funny moments that you can put on Twitter, and for that, I'm very, very happy for you. I'm also really, really sorry to all those families who now have to deal with the fact that their little squids took a swim. You know?
Yeah. Well, coming out, they've drained themselves to the water. Now they need to go to work. They need to do your Squidazon shopping, and they need to pack their boxes at Walleye Warehouse Splat Zones. That's where they're going next.
Yeah, and this is another very linear map, and we've seen Kai'Sa multiple times on that 52 deco, and I would love to see that come back, right? Because, like, Walleye Warehouse, both sides on either side of the zone, those are very, very clean curling spots. You can use the curling bombs to take control around Crate. It's just, there's so many tight corners that allow the curling bomb to really just say, you can't exist here. And so, and it's also a very Stingray dominant map. So I imagine we're gonna see a 52 deco here, and I'm very happy about that.
You're very happy about that?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's really like Walleye Warehouse. It's the narrowest stage in the entire game, and your Stingray. I hate to break it to you, but if you're not bringing a Stingray here, you're not playing Walleye.
That's so true. So true, Bestie. True and real.
But we're just gonna have to see, like, what these two teams bring in besides a Stingray. Like, we'll probably see some armor, probably see some missiles, standard meta specials, and just to see what these two teams are gonna bring in. Fancy Fish Fingers in green, Hesitant Hope in purple. Let's see. Oh, the Googler's coming out as well. Let's see what these two teams bring.
Oh, I really, really like that, and for the same reason that I like curling bombs on this map, the Gloogas being able to control those very linear angles at many, many points on this map. And also, yeah, we don't see a Stingray on the side of Fancy Fish Fingers. Worth noting, given your comments just now, DJ.
Worth noting, but it is also Splat Zones. So Splat Zones, the Stingray isn't going to be as effective as on the other mode. So that is, maybe that could have been the counter argument I would have made if I was smart. But regardless, the Fancy Fish Fingers have got an early lead here, getting all the way down to 60 but Omi gets taken out by Sabuno's Dynamo, and a Booyah Bomb's going to tend the zone nearly into neutral, but there we go, down into neutral, literally at the 50-point mark. But Sabuno gets caught out by the combination between a Splat Bomb and an Inkjet as 3 players are down on the Hopes.
Yeah, and in a critical stage in the game, right? You have a minute having passed, and here we have Fancy Fish Fingers continuously getting the picks to lock out Hesitant Hope. And honestly, this is very, very dangerous. You have the Dynamo coming up. They do get picked by a bomb. We have 10 seconds left on the counter, and Fancy Fish Fingers has successfully executed a 100-0 lockout.
Absolutely. And I guess this is why you don't see every map and mode in tournament brackets, in tournament map lists.
Yeah.
But like this is what these players signed up. They knew going into this that there were probably going to be some bad stages because it was every map mode combination. And ladies and gentlemen, here you go.
Well, arguably, we have gotten through two of the most flavorful picks on this map list, and we will be moving forward to something much more vanilla, being Rainmaker Manta Maria. So if Hesitant Hope was hoping for something more conventional, they have found their comfort pick.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be like we've gone from Mako Mart, again, very much of a somewhat balanced stage, except the baskets are quite close to center. We've then moved to Camp Triggerfish, which I don't need to explain to you what happens on that stage, specifically tower control, water, go swim squids, and then we went to Walleye Warehouse, narrow, full of lockouts. Now Manta Maria, Rainmaker, like you definitely have some clear choke points in this map, particularly on Rainmaker. But the only thing is that there is like at least 3 main routes you can take the objective.
Yeah, I really like Manta Maria in the variety. It feels like there is a path that is green light, yellow light, red light. You have cut, which to me is red light. That may make you say don't go there, but people do go there. It's what Rainmaker Manta is known for. But what to me it means by that is your push is most quickly going to come to a stop if you opt to go cut, because teams are prepared for it. They know that that's something they have to watch, especially in a 4v4 situation. You can really only go cut if everybody's gone. If you've managed to get the picks that you need, or everybody's irrelevant on the left side of the map. And then you have Street, which you can push into, you can meander your way in, you can have a couple Slayers in front of the Rainmaker, maybe squeak by in a 4v4, as long as you have enough going on, right? And then if you go down, which is going to happen as Rainmaker, you can sustain that push, you can get the repop. You're within rather favorable geometry to just keep going, provided that your Slayers are getting the picks that you need. And then, my personal favorite, you have the leftward push, because it's free, it's clear, they have to divert attention to get to it, and then if you manage to get into court, you have so much space to take some scrappy 1v1s. And then the drop in the pit can be a lot less stressful than going cut. So I look forward to seeing how they approach these different entrance options, and how they do it and win.
Absolutely. And something I just want to note out from these two weapon combinations is that Hesitant Hope, their longest range is an NZAP, which I hate to break it to you, isn't that long range when compared to a Jet Sculpture. So it's very interesting to see how the absolute comp that this team has brought into the battle, and they're just excellent here trying to find that pick, but they do jump out. But while they might be making that push, excellent getting those splats, it does get this double splat as they go down that red route you were just talking about earlier. Excellent getting that splat, and 3 players down on the side of Hesitant Hope is going to give the Fancy Fish Fingers a bit of opportunity to get some turf onto the field and get their possession going.
Yeah, and then that cut push, like, it's so tempting because you can get so many points so quickly. It's the direct path to the pedestal. It's just it can just stop at any moment, and that's what that is what Fancy Fish Fingers did. And now here they go again, opting for that cut push and just having to slam on those brakes as Dre gets the pick.
Absolutely not able to take the lead there, as they're just fighting over who's gonna pop this Rainmaker here. God of Dre noticing that Octobrush was coming out from the side. They did manage to stop them in their path. They're going to use some fish fingers, are going to use some bombs to try and push away. But there we go. That is going to be a lead switch to the side of the Fancy Fish Fingers as they're looking to find some more picks. Kyoki here does have that Stingray at the ready to use at moments. That splashdown does get taken out as a Stingray and Inkarma combination does come out from the Fish Fingers.
Yeah, and this Ray here does get the pick, but it's not stopping a push, it's stopping a return to mid. Fancy Fish Fingers doing a great job of keeping the battle lines on Hesitant Hope's side of the map. But by getting that pick there, Fancy Fish Fingers did stall enough time for the rest of the team to come in. But now we have Hesitant Hope working their way up that left side. Omni chucking the hammer. Great pick. Great pick.
It's interesting to see that you got the special and then just chucked it randomly, because I guess when you're a sploosh, that's the most amount of range you've got. Kaiser here trying to see between two jumps there, not able to get one. One that does go down, that being the squelcher, that's going to get rid of all the range from the side of the Fancy Fish Fingers. But the Rainmaker is going to get picked up and then briefed, go quickly down as Hesitant Hope is just dancing around, trying to find those picks, trying to find those lanes to get those splats. Kaiser here seeing Excellent and gets a splat combination with that suction bomb is going to give the side of Hesitant Hope that starting opportunity to make a push as two players are down and they just get taken out.
Yeah, and look at that paint coverage that Hesitant Hope has. They have complete physical control of mid, but regardless, whenever they try to pick up the Rainmaker, there's just always one member of Fancy Fish Fingers that's not out of their hair. Hesitant Hope only having the Sploosh left, and it's a Sploosh versus the world, and the Sploosh is not going to win that.
No, not on any day would that Sploosh win that, and they're just seeing the Fancy Fish Fingers are going to continue on their lead, but not going to get any more points as they go the red route and get taken out by the Hesitant Hope, and just looking to find some more picks, more players. Hesitant Hope picks up that Rainmaker as we're now in the final 90 seconds of this match.
And we're in the final 90 seconds of this match, and yet neither team has really basically gotten out of street. They haven't really gotten out of mid. So all Hesitant Hope needs is one push. One well put together, can hold forward push, and they can pull that off. They have the tools at their disposal, and they have enough time. But just Fancy Fish Fingers constantly keeping one off the scoreboard makes it infinitely harder for them.
Absolutely, and again, going for that right side push, some players there ready and waiting. 3 players, 4 players, a complete wipe on Hesitant Hope is going to give the Fancy Fish Fingers the opportunity they need to push their lead even further. They're already on 50, and that can be easily overtaken if they're making opportunity of these lanes and these openings. But it seems Hesitant Hope has already got their respawn going. Excellent has dropped down all the way down to 32. An incredible push at the final 30 seconds of this match. Is going to be incredibly difficult for Hesitant Hope to get these points remaining. And the tower gets picked up. Is this the heading for the tower? He gets stopped at 1.
Oh my gosh, now Hesitant Hope is left with a very dire situation, knowing that they have to KO, they have to get the Rainmaker all the way across mid, all throughout this chaos, this scrap that's going on in the street there, and they have to get it to the pedestal and then knock it out, but they have 2 down. That is huge for Hesitant Hope, but the question is, where will they go? Knowing that every single time they've gone right, their push has been forced to a grinding halt.
But with 2 players there on the other side of the jump, that might be a safe opportunity if they manage to avoid the Octorosh. The Octorosh does go down. 2 players are down, however, on the side of Hesitant Hope. That's going to be difficult. Still in overtime. Some jumps coming out from there. God of Dre just biding time wisely. They're going to need to avoid that suction bomb, but the suction bomb takes out Hesitant Hope, and Fancy Fish Fingers take game, set, match, and tournament of It's Dangerous to Go Alone Season 33.
And the last one before Splatoon 3, so forever known as the very, very last It's Dangerous to Go Alone winners for Splatoon 2. That being, we had the players were Fosh, Excellent, Omi, and Kakioka. So congratulations to them. That's one for your Twitter bios.
Absolutely. That is one you can keep on your plaque, you can keep on your wall. That is something that you can say, hey, I won the final free agent tournament for Splatoon 2 for It's Dangerous to Go Alone. Like, that is something you can absolutely keep in your basket for a long time.
It for sure is. And congratulations to Hesitant Hope for making it to 2nd place. And really changing and having good momentum shift between their previous game and this game. I actively enjoyed watching all of your lovely little participants playing today, DJ, and thank you so much for inviting me. It was a great time.
No problem. Thanks for coming on the show today. Now, before we wrap up things and we say where you can find us on the internet, we have a little bit of a mini announcement. It's already been announced, but I'm just going to reiterate it. So while this was the last season of Miss Dangerous Alone, there is one more tournament coming before we board the train to the Splatlands, and that's going to be the Weakest Link. So in case you don't know what Weakest Link, it used to be a mainstream tournament we had here. It's now part of our special series of tournaments. Weakest Link is essentially 3 high-ranked players. They sign up as a 3-player team, and then one other single player of a lot lower power will then sign up individually. We pair you guys up together. You have a week to practice, and then you come together after that week and battle it together in a newly formed team to gain some experience with each other and have an all-time fun round.
That's such an interesting format, DJ. I can't believe I've never heard of that. I will be looking into that, and I encourage everyone in chat to look into that as well.
Yep, so registration for that will open tomorrow when I make the sign-up form. So hold tight for that and just update some of the rules since it's been a while since we've done that. I procrastinate things, so I'll get to that. I promise I'll get to that. So stay tuned on our socials at twitter.com/offthedial, or if you want to, we'll also have it our Discord, which is otd.inc/discord. We'll get you into our Discord. All those channels will be open, but Skep, where can the lovely people here find you?
Hi, my name is Skepidillions. It is 18 days until Shine, 15 hours, 11 minutes, and 12 seconds. That's where you can find me. You can find me at Shine. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Skepidillions, as seen on screen. What about you, DJ? I know they can find you at future Off the Dial tournaments.
Yeah, you can always find me at Off the Dial. Like I guess what? I run this thing on the internet. But if you want to find me personally, I'm Twitter, as you can see there, at DGem987. I also stream on Twitch. I hosted the pre-show right before this tournament where we complain and have fun. The pre-show is on my personal channel at twitch.tv/DGem98. No 7, because on Twitter, someone already took 98 before me, so I had to add a 7. It's sad. Sad life I live.
Shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. I should buy that off them.
You
For $1.
You should consider it.
For $1, that'd totally do that. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for tuning in to this season of IDCJ. We will be raiding someone after this, so don't go anywhere because we need to send the leftovers to someone else.
Yeah. Stay fresh, everyone.